What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Wyatt Bagnall.
Taylor Wallerstein.
And today we are breaking down anything and everything in the world of sports. Starting off, we're going to go with a little Would You Rather segment. So recently, Julian Edelman had come out and talked about his top 3 wide receivers in the league. And he named Davante Adams, Keenan Allen, and Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp. 2 of those are not particularly controversial, I suppose you could say. But Keenan Allen sort of shocked a lot of people.
Yeah, I think when you say Davante Adams is one of the best wide receivers in the league, he would argue he is the best.
I don't think there's anybody that would have him outside the top 3.
Yeah, I agree. We'll have to see what he does with Derek Carr now that it's not Aaron Rodgers, but I think the only drop off in production will just be a little slower because it's Derek Carr as opposed to having, Derek Carr can throw to a couple of other guys.
Yeah.
But that's good for Davante Adams in the long run. I also think that Cooper Kupp, especially after the Triple Crown season, I would put him as, personally, I have him as my number 1 wide receiver in the NFL, but I think absolutely a number 2 Davante Adams is reasonable for sure. But Keenan Allen, no disrespect, because Keenan Allen has been a guy that I've had on fantasy teams before and a guy who
He's real consistent. Don't say too much on what you think about Keenan Allen right now, because that's the whole point of the game here.
Okay.
Which is, I'm going to give you Keenan Allen or a whole bunch of other dudes. I basically picked 15 dudes who are number 1 receivers on their team. And we're going to basically see where he thinks Keenan Allen ranks and where a lot of these other dudes rank.
Okay, I'm with it.
Yep, so starting off, we're going Keenan Allen or Michael Thomas.
Keenan Allen.
I agree, Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen or Brandon Cooks.
Keenan Allen.
Okay, we're 2 for 2. This where it gets a little interesting because this guy's a little bit similar. Keenan Allen or Amari Cooper.
That's tough. Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
I'll stick with Keenan.
I'm going Keenan Allen because it feels like he cares more. Like, it feels like Amari Cooper's just like a little...
I forget that he's on the Browns, to be honest.
Oh, I know. It's so weird.
We'll have to
Now we're getting into some real interesting territory.
Okay.
Keenan Allen or A.J. Brown?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that one is tough. Keenan Allen.
Okay.
I'll go Keenan Allen with that.
All right.
No disrespect.
I agree, but we're getting real close.
That's tough. I think you're not going wrong either or, to be completely honest with you. I don't know, something about Keenan, like, A.J. Brown's already on another
He's real
team.
slick.
Yeah.
And great routes. He's real consistent. He's just on the Chargers, so nobody really cares.
Yeah. And I love what A.J. Brown brings to the table. But we'll have to see what he does with Jalen Hurts. But
I agree. All right. Keenan Allen, Deebo Samuel.
Keenan Allen.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like Deebo, but I need to see another year.
I think Deebo. I agree. I need another year, and I also think Deebo in a lot of ways was like hugely like scheme like specific.
They used him right. Yeah.
Like, I think that, I don't know, he's such an odd receiver that it's really, really tough for me to like put him over like a conventionally really great number 1, which is Keenan Allen.
He's incredibly athletic, as he's proven. They know
physical as hell.
Yeah, and they know how to use him, but I mean, now that he wants to be solely a wide receiver, I need to see him kill it as a wide receiver.
He was killing it early in the year.
Yeah.
As a wide receiver. He was like leading the league in receiving yards till the running backs got hurt.
Yeah.
But we shall see. But I always need another year.
Yeah.
All right, Keenan Allen or DK Metcalf?
Fuck.
Yeah, that's a tough one. They're so completely opposite.
Man. They're opposite players, but they do what they do so well, and I love DK. I really do. I think I'd rather have Keenan Allen.
I'm going Keenan Allen solely because I think he does more things.
I think Keenan Allen...
DK is undeniably the more explosive athlete and the crazier athlete, but his route tree is sort of like deep bomb and like...
Because he's so good at it.
Yeah, like... Yeah. His route tree is just way more limited than Keenan Allen's. And Keenan is like so consistent with the hands. And it's like, we're really like, if we're talking about going forward, I'll take DK. But today, for one season, I would take Keenan Allen.
Yeah, if it was fantasy, I kind of look at it that way. I'd rather have Keenan just because, like, take every outside external force out of it. and just focus on DK and what he does or what Keenan Allen can bring to an offense, Keenan Allen gets open.
Yep.
Keenan Allen is the number one guy that Justin Herbert likes to go to if it's not Mike Williams doing what DK Metcalf does.
Yeah.
And Mike Williams is a great route runner himself.
Not even close to Keenan Allen.
Not even close to Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen he can change the game. And no disrespect to DK Metcalf, I think he can too.
He absolutely does.
And yeah, with how explosive he is, but I think I don't know. I just Keenan Allen opens the game more.
I almost picked DK Metcalf just for the speed alone because if there's one thing Keenan Allen is, it's not super explosive, but like I said, I think he's just more versatile.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna go Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin.
Keenan Allen.
Okay.
Yeah. Terry's great. Don't get me wrong.
I really want to say Terry McLaurin, like I really do, but I truly don't know. Like we just haven't seen he hasn't been given nearly enough opportunity to show. Like my gut feeling is Terry McLaurin's probably better.
He's better than his stats and everything that he has right now, and he's still got great stats, like 30,000-yard seasons or something with
something like that.
Whoever at quarterback, like
yep.
The extension well deserved. Like I
agree.
I think he's a guy you need to pay and have on that roster.
Yep.
I think I'd rather just have Keenan Allen. I think I'm more comfortable with Keenan Allen as opposed to Terry.
Again, the problem is Keenan Allen's just so damn reliable.
Yeah, that's the issue is that you can count on him.
Yeah.
And that makes it so much easier. Like I don't want to with Keenan Allen. Not only is he so good, but he's reliable consistently to be that good. And I just know I can count on that instead of want to risk it with a young guy like Terry.
Yep, and I'm glad you mentioned the words "young guy" because we just finished the young guys basically.
Okay.
Pretty much. There's only two more.
There's
only two more young guys on this list.
Okay.
And they're a little higher up.
Okay, so I'm taking Keenan Allen over most of the young guys in the league right now.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Keenan Allen, Mike Evans.
Keenan Allen.
I'm taking Mike Evans.
No disrespect to Mike Evans, and I think that's fair to make that decision.
You want to talk about consistency? Every single year of Mike Evans' career has been 1,000 yards.
That's true.
He's 6'5". He's massive. He's a slower version of Megatron, but he's frame wise, he's still massive.
He's a beast,
and he is extremely consistent.
He's
good quarterback or bad quarterback. So that's where I sort of draw the line. I'm like, okay, Mike Evans has shown me more.
That's fair. No, and Mike Evans is a stud. Like, no disrespect at all when I say Keenan Allen.
Yep.
It's just, again, that reliability of, I know Mike Evans is going to get open, but I know Keenan Allen is going to wreck a game by getting open 10 yards. It doesn't matter who my quarterback is. Keenan Allen will make it a little bit easier. Granted, Mike Evans does it too, but you got to have an accurate quarterback because of what Mike Evans does downfield.
What you talking about? He had Jameis Winston,
and you could have had 25 touchdowns in a year. If it
he could have. But I'm still just saying. Like here's the other thing. Phillip Rivers was Keenan Allen's quarterback before Justin Herbert.
It's true.
Like it's not like Keenan Allen's ever struggled for at bare minimum good quarterback play. Yeah. Like Phillip Rivers might not be the best guy in the league, but he's never been the worst guy in Keenan Allen's run with the Chargers. But I mean, I've seen Mike Evans deal with some crap in Tampa.
That's fair.
And still put out. So I'm going Mike Evans.
Okay.
All right. Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs.
Diggs.
Yep.
I take Diggs there.
Yep.
I think Diggs is a faster version of Keenan Allen.
Not as big, but he is faster.
Yeah, not as big, faster, and I think he's with him being he's a little bit younger, right?
Oh yeah.
He's a lot younger, right?
I think he's 3 maybe 4 years younger.
Yeah, you just get more with Diggs, and man, I love Diggs.
Yep.
So.
Alrighty. So that's one.
Keenan Allen finally falls off.
Yeah, for you.
So I guess that what makes him the 10th.
So, well, for you, anyways. So I'm still just using Keenan Allen against all these other dudes for you.
Okay.
Keenan Allen or DeAndre Hopkins?
Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I'm going. They're honestly kind of similar. DeAndre Hopkins is just a little bit of a better version of it. He's got the crazy hands, really good hands. Neither one of them are hugely fast, but DeAndre Hopkins just makes incredible catches.
Yeah, I think he's just fallen off, to be honest.
Hopkins?
Yeah, I think he's no longer the guy he used to be.
He might be. I don't know. Yeah. He got hurt last year.
And that's fair.
Now he's suspended,
and now he's suspended, which is it's a weird situation.
I really wanted to take Keenan Allen because DeAndre Hopkins generally just kind of annoys me. But DeAndre Hopkins, he's he is a Cardinal. He's kind of like Larry Fitzgerald. in a much lesser sense, let's get this clear. I think Larry Fitzgerald at his peak is far better. But in terms of like, might have the best hands in the league and can just catch anything that goes near him.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that. And now I'm getting into one of the other young guys,
Okay.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say it.
Pretty
Yeah.
obvious.
Yeah. Today, I'll take Keenan Allen just out of respect.
Yeah.
But I think by the end of next year, we're probably looking at Jamar Chase in
conversation
as
like the best wide receiver in the NFL.
I don't think that, but I think that he'll be getting up there. I don't think in 1 year he could surpass. There are 3 guys that next year I don't think he can surpass.
Would you consider Justin Jefferson top 5?
That he is on this list coming up.
Okay.
And yes, and I don't think Jamar Chase will pass him by next year.
So in 2 years,
I would still, in my personal opinion,
look at what Justin Jefferson has done in the course of 2 years. He's
Yep.
a former teammate.
Yep.
And then Jamar Chase, if he accomplishes anything near or probably better than what Justin Jefferson accomplished in 2 years, you kind of have to say that he's better than Justin Jefferson.
I don't because the Vikings offense is not a passing offense, and he still does all that. And okay, we're gonna keep moving on, but now we're getting into Battle for L.A. Cooper Kupp or Keenan Allen.
Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
I take Kupp.
I think he's a little overrated off one great year, but I'll still take him over Keenan Allen.
I think he's absolutely that guy.
Yeah, I got him as my 4th best receiver.
I think
You said him at number 1.
I'd put him at number 1.
Yeah, I got him at number 4 because I don't know. I would just take all these other 3 dudes over him. I mean,
fair enough.
Yeah, so I got number 3. I got Justin Jefferson.
I think I'd rather have Justin Jefferson.
Yep, I'd rather have him for sure.
Dude's a stud.
Yep, he's kind of similar to Keenan Allen, but he's younger and he's already done like insane amounts.
He honestly, God, reminds me a lot of Diggs, but just a little bigger.
Yep.
Like genuinely, I think they just replaced Diggs with Diggs.
Yep, and then Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill. I mean, come on.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, Tyreek Hill. He's just a crazy weapon.
Yeah, the speed's just
Yeah.
unbeatable. I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, and then last one, Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
Yep. So I mean, I would disagree with Julian Edelman that he is top 2. I would put him somewhere around the like number 7 spot.
I think give him his respect, absolutely, for what he's.
Listen, top 10 receiver in the league is not bad, dude.
Top 10 receiver in the league for a long time.
Yeah,
too.
that is perfectly formidable and respectable. There are just some dudes that are crazy athletes.
Yeah. Okay, so what are your top 5 wide receivers, though?
Top 5, Devontae Adams at number 1.
Okay.
He might slide a little bit, but I think on a technical level, like route running and like hands and the fact that he was the only dude on his team, really.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams is like crazy good.
Yeah.
I'm taking Tyreek Hill number 2 because I think he's just the most unique weapon at wide receiver.
Yeah.
Number 3, I'm taking Jefferson because I think that he is doing really, really impressive stuff on an offense that's not designed for wide receivers to do great with a quarterback that is not known to be particularly like clutch or do great in the big moments.
Fair.
And not to mention he's young. He's got a lot of room to grow. Number 4, I'm going Cooper Kupp. He's really only had the one great year, but it was a really great year. So respect where it's due. And number 5, I got Stephon Diggs.
That's fair.
Yeah. And then hovering like just outside there is like Hopkins, Jamar Chase, Mike Evans.
Sure. I think I got, obviously, Cooper Kupp number 1. We'll have to see if he can replicate it, but I think he can. I really like the connection he's got over there with Stafford. Very much reminds me almost like a Brady Welker, kind of like they know exactly where they're going to be and everything. I think number 2 for me is Devontae Adams. Same thing you kind of said. I think he's just a freak athlete and, been able to just do some incredible stuff.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill is my number 3. Dude is just fastest guy in the league. That's going to obviously get you some props. And, I think he's going to take some production, a shot to his production with Tua being his quarterback and everything. But I think even with the stuff that he does this year, even with a quarterback who can't throw.
We're gonna look so stupid if Tua just freaking goes nuclear on the league.
I will stand and die on this hill that Tua is gonna absolutely flop.
I'm honestly rooting for him because I think he seems like a good dude, and I feel bad for him in that I think he was never helped in Miami. Like I think at every step.
Neither was anybody.
No, I know, but I'm just saying like. He seems to have just been absolutely screwed by the Dolphins. Like, from the start.
They brought in so many people, and they got rid of Brian Flores because he publicly criticized him.
No, but Flores,
They've done nothing but support this guy.
Well, this offseason.
And
yes.
the year before.
No, they did not.
Yeah, they did.
Waddle's the only thing they did. They still had the worst
Drafted Jalen Waddle as former
I just
teammate.
said that.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Duh.
Waddle they brought in, but they
Gesicki.
still the worst line in the league. A defensive head coach that didn't like him and would barely commit to him. He didn't have like a set offensive
They
coordinator.
should have taken Herbert, though.
Duh. The Bengals should have taken Herbert in hindsight.
Oh,
You can say whatever you want, dude.
No. Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, I think, and this is not, don't take this out of context or anything, but I think Joe Burrow and Cincinnati were just a perfect combination, and it needed.
You're right.
it
Justin
needed to be
Herbert
both
deserves
out.
Hollywood.
Justin Herbert looks like the Cali kid, dude. He's like,
He does look
he's
like
from
yeah.
California, and he was a Chargers fan.
He would look great in South Florida too.
I think, well, granted, duh.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think
Anywhere on the beach with the long hair like that, you got to be.
I
on the
wanted
beach,
him in
man.
Miami. Don't get me wrong. I think Justin Herbert is the perfect quarterback for LA right now in the Chargers, and I think Joe Burrow is the only guy who could have really turned Cincinnati around culturally, as it seems that he's done.
Yeah.
There still remains to be seen. It's only we're going in third year, so
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of excitement, and there's a lot of obviously the franchise is looking a lot different than it did before Burrow came in. I don't know if they take Herbert or Tua first overall, whatever quarterback it was. I don't know if it's the same kind of magical.
I don't think they are.
combination you're looking
I don't think they are any worse off if they took Herbert.
That's fair, and I won't say it would. I wouldn't be like, oh, it wouldn't have worked. It would have been catastrophic if Herbert was the guy here and Burrow was the guy over in LA. But I think both, like with Herbert being a Chargers.
This is
fan,
honestly a very interesting thought exercise that I think we should go into. Just like at some point of just like flipping certain scenarios and be like, okay, where would these teams be if it flipped?
jot it down.
So you went Cup,
Devontae
Hill,
Adams,
who's
Hill.
4 and 5.
I
say
think
Jamar
I
Chase.
think Jamar Chase. I'll put at 5.
Yeah, okay.
I think he's already the 5th best wide receiver, and then I would
Okay.
actually put Diggs at 4. Dude is just constantly proven, and I love that connection he has with Yashi.
Yashi. All right, fair enough. Cool.
But I think it is a crowded room. It is a crowded wait outside of the room for top 5.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of, like, again, here's the thing. The league's not like it used to be, where it was like you would only have a few great players at any position. With the league leaning so heavily into, like, we want offenses to be good.
Yeah.
Now it's like every single team has 2 good receivers unless you're Jacksonville.
Ooh, poor Jackson.
Like-
Poor Trev, to be honest with you.
That's who I feel bad for.
Oh, that's a quarterback I'd feel the most bad for. But that's a
It's the one I do feel the most bad for right now because I really want him to do well because he clearly is talented.
kind of feel bad for Baker.
but I just think
now I don't. 'Cause
I
he got out of
mean
there.
I get you. We're gonna hit on that, but so yeah, moving on. So we both have Keenan Allen, really outside of our top 5, probably somewhere around
in the
7.
top 10, yeah, 7, 8.
He's
9.
firmly in the top 10. He's just probably like 7
Yeah.
in there.
At worst 10. At worst 10.
Yeah. So now we're going to move on to a few other sports. We're going to start off with the MLB because
Yes.
they are in season.
It's
And
basically the only sport.
they're really the only sport going right now, like in terms of like big leagues. So I'm going to let our resident baseball expert take it away.
Resident Dodgers fan and baseball expert.
Agreed.
Excuse me.
Yeah, go for it.
No, honestly, it's been a crazy part going up to the season. It's been great to follow the Reds, actually. It's watching them not only fight as I'm not even really a Reds fan, but I've become a supporter of them specifically because of their owner situation and everything they got with Nick Castellini. Not owner, I think it's president. I don't know exactly his title. Dude is just a bonehead. Like, makes Rob Manfred look a little bit better, to be completely honest with you. So, following the Reds has definitely been interesting this season, but we're coming up to the trade deadline, which I am definitely excited for.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. I love trade season.
It is honestly one of my favorite parts of the year. Excited to see. I know the Dodgers are going to find some way to bring in somebody. I think, honestly, to be completely honest, we could probably use another pitcher right now, but I feel like we always do. Tony Gonzalen is now leading the NL in ERA. He's doing absolutely great. I think he's undefeated with a 10-0 record or something along those lines. Tyler Stevenson, another one of our guys, or Tyler Anderson, excuse me, another one of our pitchers doing a great job. I think he's also undefeated. So yeah, we got Julio Urias coming back. So it's genuinely interesting to see what we're going to be doing.
Yeah.
But recent acquisition, believe it or not, Trace Thompson, brother of
I don't
Klay
believe
Thompson.
it. Wait. My Warriors, Klay Thompson?
Yes, absolutely. The third Splash Brother since being traded back to the Dodgers to help us out with Mookie being injured and everything, has absolutely been crushing the baseball.
Love it.
And some great ball for us over in LA. So we got another California Thompson just doing freaking work for us out there. But
you love to see it.
Mookie back from the injury, excited to see. Honestly, the Dodgers are getting hot. We're now I believe we're leading the NL. Yeah, we're just swept the Rockies.
What are some of the standings right now? Just so everybody knows.
So right now, Yankees are on top of the AL. It seems like
shocker.
They're absolutely balling. It looks like Garrett Cole figured out the whole spider tack situation. Either figured out how to hide it better or has decided to learn how to pitch without it. We'll have to see.
Can we just embrace cheating again in baseball?
I think it makes it more fun sometimes, but at the same time, Rob Manfred adding this whole dead ball thing where the ball just drops way earlier than it should have. Why would you limit home runs in baseball? But that's neither here nor there.
Continue. Who else is doing well?
The Astros are obviously doing great as well, which absolutely sucks, and I hate to see it.
No controversy has ever surrounded them.
No, they're completely clean, and they totally earned their ring legit.
Yes.
But they're definitely on top over there. Over in the NL, it's looking, Dodgers are obviously leading the NL West. We got a couple of, we got the Padres and the Giants, it feels like, coming up on us. I believe if I remember correctly, I've not been keeping up with the NL Central at all. I think it's not the Cubs on top of it. I don't know. It's someone else on
I could not tell you. Don't look to me.
I'll have to look up the standings a little bit more because I haven't checked exactly. But, baseball expert me over here. But we're getting to that kind of point where, teams are proving, like the Angels, that they're absolutely terrible. The Orioles have been incredibly fun to watch with their new call-up, Adley Rutschman, who just hit his first home run, so at the time of this recording. So it's definitely, we got some young guys coming in. Pirates have looked terrible.
Really?
Yeah, crazy.
The Pittsburgh Pirates. the historically great Pittsburgh Pirates.
I know, such a great team legendarily, but Rays are looking pretty good over in the AL as well.
Is that Tampa Bay?
Yeah.
Something in the water, dude.
Over there in Florida, they know what they're doing, but
they're all on the TB12 method now, and look at them go.
Every time Brady not to get off topic, but every time Brady goes to a town, that city or state.
Granted,
is a ball.
Boston was good before.
Boston was good before, but
Tampa was not. So continue. Sorry.
Boston stayed good while the Patriots stayed good, which is crazy. And then now, obviously Tampa Bay just absolutely killing it. Until recently with the Avs, knocking Tampa Bay.
I mean, listen, it still counts as killing it if you get to the finals.
I mean, almost had a three-peat, and I mean, you didn't get swept 3-2. Like,
no, if you get to the finals, it counts as a great year.
Yeah, I think it was just Colorado's time to finally win a championship, and now they're going to go through another 30, 40-year drought where nothing happens for this entire state.
Exactly.
But, Braves are crushing it over in the NL. Actually looks like they're going to potentially, be able to defend their championship.
I have no reason to dislike the Braves, except one reason. Well, I mean, only one reason. It's that I know people who like the Braves, and just the troll in me cannot stand to see other people happy, even if it's a sport that I don't give a damn about. I'm just like, fair. Boo Braves.
That's absolutely fair. I've come to kind of let them off the hook a little bit, just with, they pulled off a win against the Astros, which I was kind of like, okay, I needed you guys to win. Losing to them in the NLCS was definitely a bummer, but we just came off of beating our rivals in the Giants, first time ever met in the postseason in our entire, franchise rivalry and everything like that, which, 1-0 against our rivals in the playoffs. That was my World Series.
Better than 0-1.
Better than 0-1. So absolutely, I am just stoked. I was like, you know what, Braves, we got our World Series already, and it looks like, obviously the Astros were going to go to the World Series. Yeah. So I was like, just go crush the Astros for us, please. That's all I want. And they did. So, and then they gave us Freddie Freeman for our troubles, so it was even better. To be completely honest, I cannot be happier with the Braves because I have a good feeling that when we meet in the NLCS this year, we are going to have a bit of a chip on our shoulder.
There you go. Anything else in the world of baseball?
Plenty, but we will definitely move on to the next one.
Okay. Cool. So moving on from the only in-season sport, we're moving on to one of the off-seasons, and that is basketball. This has been a very interesting time these last couple days and week in particular. We had a lot go on. First of all, a couple young players returning to their teams on either a max deal or a rookie max deal or a super max deal. Zach LaVine returns to the Bulls on a max deal. Devin Booker returns to the Suns on a super max deal, so good for him. And then and then the two number one picks or the first and second picks a few years ago, Zion Williamson and Ja Morant get rookie max extensions.
Okay.
And this sort of got me thinking in general, which one would you rather have, Ja or Zion? Personally, I'm going to go with Ja Morant just for consistency. And listen, they both have had their injury issues, but Ja Morant seems to just not care as much about a whole bunch of outside stuff. It doesn't seem like Zion really tries. It seems like he never wanted to be a Pelican, which, listen, no shade on that. It's not, especially when it was he was told the entire way leading up to the draft he'd be going to New York City to be one of the Knicks, and ended up going to New Orleans. But it's always just seemed like he's not that invested. And listen, Ja Morant didn't get to go to some really glamorous place. He's in Memphis. But
Tennessee's pretty sick.
I'm not saying Tennessee's not sick, but if you're talking big brands in the NBA, the Grizzlies have never been one of them. And I just like Ja's attitude more, of he's just ferocious.
I think
he's a trash talker.
Yeah, I think that's where I got to build something around.
Yeah.
Zion kind of pisses me off because bro, you're an adult, grow up.
Lumbers around a whole lot.
It's I've worked jobs I didn't fucking like, and I gave my word that I was going to do everything I could to be the best person I could be for that job, and. Until that job was done, I was going to bust my ass.
I mean, I already get the feeling that Zion, he signed this rookie max because it's the most money he could get from anybody.
Yeah.
But he's going to do what everybody else does now, and now he's just going to request a trade to try to get that money and then just have it get sent to somebody else. Which, I mean, listen, that's the game. And with the NBA in particular, that's not that uncommon. But it's just annoying. And I don't know. I respect the dude like Giannis or Ja that's just sort of bought in entirely, even in a smaller market.
Yeah.
And they're just willing to grind it out. I just respect it more. But
I always have fun. Well, granted, I always look at it in kind of what would I don't know. You obviously play Madden in the show or whatever, whatever you watch, whatever you're playing.
Yeah.
I almost kind of like being the guy for a franchise and being able to turn it around and be the face of a franchise and be that first franchise guy that everybody's just dying over and everything. Is able to bring the glory. I've been playing, and this obviously is not real life in the slightest. So don't
Really?
Yeah, crazy. I am not the world's best first baseman in baseball, believe it or not. However, in the show, I got drafted by the Kansas City Royals, and I freaking hate that. I hate the Royals. I haven't heard from the Royals in freaking forever. It feels like, and I was like, dude, I don't want to be here. And so,
Missouri.
Yeah, it's but the way stuff works in that game is that you gotta be there for 6 years before you're able to get out. I mean, even talking to your agent, they can shop you and try to trade you.
I'd be let's reset this franchise.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there's multiple moments where I could have been like that, and I actually kind of stayed with the Royals for a bit because I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna be a baller because I already got called up so early. They must need me. Then I got traded to the Rays for one day, and then I got traded to the Reds, and I've been playing for the Cincinnati Reds for 10 years.
Out of all three of those teams, let's be real, you'd want to be with the Rays.
I don't want to be with the Rays. I was actually when I got traded to the Rays, it was to they were in playoff mode, so they wanted a guy who could bat well.
Well, my thing with basketball and baseball in general, it's the amount of money that you'll get paid just to stay.
Yeah,
it's dude, just freaking do it. It's any city you live in, if you have that amount of money, it's a great place to live. Especially New Orleans is not this boring city.
Yeah, go take an off season or go buy a house somewhere where you want to live.
Yeah, but I mean, even
figure it out, dude.
That's one of the things I really like about the NFL. Is it's there's no small market bias in the NFL. Where it's for some, I don't know how it happened exactly, but somehow people are I want to go to Green Bay.
Oh yeah, things. Who would want to go up to there? It's I'm Get me up there.
Yeah, it's like whenever somebody signs with a New York team, it's like, oh, God, that guy's an idiot. And then when they sign with Green Bay, it's like, dude, you nailed it. Way to go.
Yeah, crazy.
It's just weird because, like, NFL, historically, the great teams like Green Bay, Pittsburgh, Dallas. Like, Dallas is kind of a big city in general. But, like, the Broncos have, like, a ton of Super Bowls. Like, there's a lot of teams in the NFL.
I think what's crazy about the NFL is that there's always a team every year that's just, how the fuck did they get here? And this year is the Bengals.
I was about to say it was the Bengals.
This year's absolutely the Bengals. Like nobody expected the Bengals to even make playoffs, let alone win division and then win AFC.
Exactly.
So I think that's what's so fun about the NFL. And it makes people able to be fans and everything is because at any point your team can pull a Jacksonville.
And exactly doing like this is what I'm talking about with the NBA. It's like it's so tough to be a fan of one of these teams. That's not the Lakers.
The super teams,
yeah, it's not the Lakers. It's not the Heat or something like that where everybody just wants to go there. Because it's like, well, damn, we're just sort of stuck. And it seems like the European players don't seem to care as much. Like, Jokic likes Denver. Giannis likes Milwaukee. But
Luka is going to get paid in
Luka's
Dallas.
Luka's going to get paid in Dallas. But other than that, it's like, and this brings me on to some of my next stuff, but you're not often going to see a superstar who's like, I want to go play for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, kind of sucks because there are people who really like the Jazz, but they're just sort of stuck knowing, well, this team's never really going to be there again.
And that's kind of what, that's why I think that's why I like football so the NFL so much is that even when things feel like they're getting stale and it's almost like even when we have all these young quarterbacks who are balling out, then you have an off season like the one we just had where the entire league is completely changed.
Exactly.
It feels like a Madden franchise now.
Exactly. And on to the Jazz, because the Jazz have made waves in the last couple days.
What they do?
They traded Rudy Gobert to the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's not so crazy. What's crazy is the way they robbed the Timberwolves. They got like at least six like legitimate assets.
Really?
For a center who's aging. And if you get him away from the basket, he's not as great of a defender. And on offense, he's not that useful. So this has caused some really big issues. Like, in general, you could just say, okay, that team just sort of, like, stupid, bad move by the Timberwolves or something like that. They paid way too much. But in the days following that, Kevin Durant requests a trade from the Nets. And now the Nets are like, well, we want more than what the Jazz got. And the entire league is like, well, the Jazz is the Wolves are just dumb. Yeah. Like the Timberwolves are just dumb. None of us actually think that's good.
Someone will pay though if they really want.
I don't think so.
Might pay.
Here's the problem. Here's the issue. So this is a whole fun thing. The Nets are absolutely falling apart, and I love it.
It's crazy.
But yeah, KD wants out, and it was reported early on that the two teams he would really like to go to, Phoenix and Miami. First of all, Kevin, if you're trying to prove that you can do your own thing, stop requesting trades to like the number one seeds in their conference, dude. Yeah. Like he does. I don't think he wants to build something. I think he wants to just go and like win.
He just wants to be known as one of the best.
Yeah, I think he just wants to go and win.
Okay.
But it's just like everybody's like, it's sort of like Golden State all over again to a way lesser extent. But it's like you're requesting trades to the teams that were the top dogs in their conference anyways.
How funny would it be if he goes back to OKC?
OKC would be kind of funny.
That'd be funny.
Well,
I think it would work.
But here's the issue. Here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
Most of these teams cannot give anything to Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because Ben Simmons is there, and you cannot have two players on a rookie max deal or something like that. So, if they want anything from Miami, you'd probably be talking like Bam Adebayo or something like that. You can't have him because you have Ben Simmons.
Right.
Jimmy Butler, I would honestly love to see him go to Miami because it's like he didn't respond well when Draymond Green yelled at him in Golden State. Jimmy Butler is Draymond Green, but like the number one guy on his team, so he's allowed to say whatever the hell.
Sure.
And he will get up Kevin Durant's ass about it.
Yeah.
About anything.
It's just so interesting.
I'd like it.
Can do this though.
Well, that's the other thing. He has 4 more years left on his contract with the Nets.
Yeah, this is.
If I'm the Nets, I'm saying, listen, buddy.
Fuck off.
Hell no. Because here's the thing that people need to take responsibility for. And players in general in the NBA. They say that they want this to be like a players' league. They want all this power. That's fine. But the Nets have mortgaged their future around maintaining Kevin Durant and getting people he wanted in there. And now it doesn't work perfectly, and Kevin Durant's just like, okay, I want to go now. No,
it's like, bro,
you do not get to.
Yeah, you were trying to help build.
Yeah, so I mean, the Phoenix can't give them enough.
Yeah,
Miami can't give them players that are worth anything because they can't send dudes there with Ben Simmons there. If they can find a way to get Ben Simmons out of Brooklyn and be impressive, but nobody's gonna want him right now.
Ben Simmons blows.
Yeah, so it's like they're sort of stuck with that. So it's like I would go up to him and be like, you signed an extension last offseason. You are going to play here.
At least
it's like it's such a fun exercise of like, where could he go? Where could he do this? And
everybody loves it.
Somebody pointed out this hilarious thing of like one of the only teams that could present a trade package to the Nets to get him is Golden State. And that would be A, hilarious, but B, as a Warriors fan, I don't want him back.
It's fair.
I kind of enjoy this whole little game of like, we can do it without you. And, but it's just, there's not a possibility of another team being able to give the Nets like worthy compensation.
Yeah.
And I think that it is absolutely okay for some team to set a precedent with these players of like, dude, you signed a contract here. You signed it 1 year ago. We have 4 years more years of control on you.
Yeah.
You are staying.
Yeah.
We traded everything else away to get guys that you wanted in here.
Yeah.
You don't get to bail out now.
Yeah.
So I hope he plays for the Nets because I think that the Nets deserve to have him because they have legitimately sacrificed a lot to get him and to keep him and Kyrie Irving happy. And it's like, if I'm the Nets, I'm just saying, no, sir. If you want to sit out and waste your age 34 season, go for it.
Yeah,
but you are not getting traded.
Yeah.
Kyrie is another matter. I'd be like, bye-bye.
But I think Kyrie's cancer.
Yeah, exactly. But they just need. I think that some team needs to put their foot down on some of these superstars because it's like they keep making these messes and then blaming everybody else and bailing out. Then everybody else gets fired.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, you caused this problem just as much as anybody else. You stay here and deal with it. So I hope that happens. But that's really the big news in the NBA right now. The Nets are falling apart. The Nets need to put their foot down on Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Ship Kyrie out. And we're getting some interesting extensions. So that's interesting stuff. And back to another sport that is always in season because they don't technically have a season. But this last weekend was UFC 276. 2 title fights and a bunch of very influential fights to go with it on the main card. This is my second favorite sport.
Okay.
So I'm gonna
go to town.
I'm gonna go to town just a little bit, just enough. So I'm going to start at the top and work my way down.
Sure.
In the main event.
And I'll give my no context responses to everything.
Perfect. Let's do it.
Yeah.
So starting off with the main event, it was Israel Adesanya defending his middleweight belt against Jared Cannonier.
And you know Jared's just an absolute monster.
He legit. Well, I'm assuming you have no context. But Jared Cannonier started out as a heavyweight.
Okay.
Then a light heavyweight. Then down to middleweight. Worked his way down. Knockouts in all 3 divisions, insanely powerful. And this turned into a sort of a boring fight because of something like that. Israel Adesanya might be the best striker in MMA.
Okay.
So he knows it. So he knows that he can just out-technique him, he can out-point him. He just knows that he cannot get touched on the chin by Jared Cannonier.
Sure.
And yeah, sort of a lackluster main event. Adesanya won all 5 rounds, I think, just through like a variety of like just technical striking. And Cannonier never really pressed it enough to just. I mean, at some point, if you're Jared Cannonier's corner, you got to be like, dude, caution to the wind.
Go for it.
Go in there like a goddamn hurricane and try to just land one.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to outstrike him. He's taller, he's longer, he's more technically sound. And I didn't understand the game plan of Jared Cannonier. And so Israel Adesanya beat him by a unanimous decision. That makes sense. A lot of people have sort of started to point out now that Israel Adesanya is having some boring fights. And does the UFC have an issue? Yes and no, in that you have an issue with that definitely some of his fights have become boring. Other than like the Paulo Costa fight, There hasn't been like a really, really great title defense yet from him. But it's also, I think it's more on the challengers to come in and be like, we cannot play his game. We have to make him uncomfortable, force him to do things. Don't just try to stand there with him. But other than that, he's a great talker. He is great with call-outs. He always knows what he wants to do next. He does really interesting like walkouts. He's one of the only UFC fighters to do it. So he's super entertaining. The problem is everybody knows that they can't blitz him or he'll counter-strike the hell out of you. But that's sort of your only way to do it because he's bigger than all of them, like in terms of just height and reach.
Yeah.
So you got to go in there and try to get him or wrestle him. But middleweight doesn't really have a ton of great wrestlers. So it's just like, it's this really interesting situation.
Sure.
But earlier on in this card, we might have got the answer to how we're going to get that resolved.
Okay.
But in the co-main event, Alexander Volkanovski defended his featherweight title against Max Holloway, beat him by unanimous decision. I'm not going to lie, super bummed by this fight. I really like Max Holloway. Volkanovski wins the trilogy between them. It says 3-0, but everybody knows it was really 2-1. Max won that second fight. But this one was pretty definitive. Couldn't finish him or anything like that, but he just won all the rounds.
Yeah.
Real bummer.
That's fair.
It's a real bummer. I really like Max. And I don't dislike Volkanovski. He's really good. I don't know. He's just sort of like, I guess you could say he's a little bland, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I'm coming around on him. It really is. The main reason I didn't really like him that much is that I just thought that Max got robbed in the second fight. And just a little bitterness on my part. I'll admit it. Sour grapes.
Sorry,
like I have, but
absolutely been
in
there.
truth, like I will completely own it. Alexander Volkanovski, great fighter, absolutely deserves that belt. Good on him, man. But now it's sort of interesting in that Max Holloway is the obvious number one contender every single time at featherweight because against literally everybody else in that division, he just kicks their ass. And it's not even close.
Yeah.
And Volkanovski does the same thing. So it's sort of like, well, shit. Now what do we do at featherweight? Because it's just those two guys, then everybody else.
Yeah.
And he's talked about moving up to lightweight to fight for the title. That's super tough, especially because the lightweight title is currently vacant. And it's not, but it was because the guy who was the lightweight champ missed by like half a pound at the weigh-in.
Gotcha.
So they stripped him. Then that's Charles Oliveira. I don't think Oliveira's next fight is booked.
Yeah.
It's for the vacant title because he still won. Like, he hasn't lost since he won the belt the first time. A lot of people say conventional wisdom is that Islam Makhachev will fight Charles Oliveira for the lightweight title. I don't particularly want that because those Dagestani guys are just sort of really boring.
Yeah.
Like, Khabib is great. Khabib's one of the best fighters that has ever fought. I think he's lost 2 rounds in 29 fights or something like that.
Sure.
Crazy. But he just takes dudes down, holds them there, punches them until it's over. Fine. But it's like, damn, that can get boring, especially because they don't like to talk that much.
Talking's half of it.
Yeah, they don't like. It was like just from an entertainment perspective, those Dagestani guys just don't have it. They might be the best. They probably are. They're really great. But from like an entertainment standpoint, I'm like, I never am going to buy a pay-per-view if that's the main thing on it from them. Because like I know how it's gonna go. He's gonna walk in, he's gonna try to take him down, and then if he's able to submit you, fine. If not, he'll just punch you out till the fight's over. I would love to see Volkanovski instead fight Oliveira. But Oliveira's out here talking that he wants to let Conor McGregor jump the whole line because he just wants money.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I get it. Oliveira's been in the UFC for over 10 years. Conor McGregor, even when he's not winning, is still the biggest fight.
Yeah.
I don't particularly like that, even though I like Conor.
Is he all good after the whole leg thing from last time?
No idea. Hasn't fought since.
Really?
I have no idea.
So
honestly, I wanted Conor to retire a few years ago. Because like you already had all the money in the world, just retire with like your legacy intact, And I think that he just doesn't have the same motivation and drive and fire.
I don't think he's the same.
And I don't blame you. I don't want to, like, if I had the amount of money that he had, I'm not like, I want to go
what are you
train.
fighting for anymore?
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to go train and fight against like a trained killer.
Yeah.
But who knows? So lightweight is just really interesting and a little messy right now, where it's like Volkanovski definitely could go up there, and maybe that they would just do that. They would have him fight Oliveira, and we see what's up. Sure. But right now, lightweight's a little bit of a mess. Moving on to Sean Strickland versus Alex Pereira, another middleweight fight. Alex Pereira knocks his ass out in round 1. Now, This is interesting because Alex Pereira has fought the middleweight champ Israel Adesanya twice in kickboxing.
Okay.
Beat him twice. He knocked out Adesanya the second time. He's probably going to fight for that middleweight belt next. I don't think he'll beat Israel Adesanya. But if anybody's a chance to make him uncomfortable striking, it'll be Alex Pereira.
Okay.
Thing is, I think if Alex Pereira does beat Izzy, they obviously rematch it, and say Izzy wins, then they got a trilogy fight it, and it puts the whole division on hold. But if Pereira somehow wins all that, I think he immediately gets taken out by like Robert Whittaker.
Sure.
Or Paulo. I don't know about Paulo Costa, but I think Robert Whittaker and Marvin Vettori, two guys that are like really well rounded and can wrestle, they could probably take his ass down and just beat him. Like, because I think Robert Whittaker and Max Holloway are basically the same.
Sure.
In that Robert Whittaker beats everybody at middleweight but Israel Adesanya. And Max Holloway, same deal. Everybody at featherweight but Volkanovski. So now that just makes the game so interesting for the UFC. If they're like, okay, we want this guy to like fight for the belt.
Yeah.
We cannot let him fight Robert Whittaker. Because then all of a sudden it's like, well, shit. Like Cannonier, who just fought for the belt the other day, he had not lost at middleweight at all until like 2 fights ago when Robert Whittaker just like shut him down.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
So, but Pereira's probably going to fight for the belt next. I'm going to pick Izzy, but
I'll go Pereira.
Go for it,
put
dude.
100 down on it.
Go for it. Listen, his nickname is Poatan, which I heard like translate to like stone hands or something, and makes sense. Dude could knock out a mule from the look of it.
Man, I put my money on stone hands.
Listen, that's really, really enticing, but it's just Izzy's been so tough to just hit at all. But that's fine. It's interesting enough. Sean Strickland probably just goes back. He's got to pick another like rebuild fight. Maybe him and Cannonier fight. But it's interesting. Middleweight and featherweight are starting to have some issues of the champs have beat the top dude to them multiple times, and everybody else can't even get by that guy. Yeah. So it's interesting. In later down on the card, Robbie Lawler was beat by Brian Barberena by KO. Two vets of the sport, no real like division altering implications. I would just like to see Robbie Lawler retire. He keeps like, I don't like seeing these dudes that that fought so well earlier in their career and who are like former champs and stuff like that. I don't like to see them go out with this type of whimper.
Yeah.
Unless the dude just has no money and just has to fight, I just walk away.
Yeah.
And then the fight that opened up the main card, Pedro Munoz versus Sean O'Malley at Bantamweight. It ended as a no contest from an accidental eye poke. Such a bummer because Sean O'Malley is like a rising star bantamweight and is the most interesting dude in that division. And now the question isn't like, who does he move on to next? It's, does he rematch Pedro Munoz? And I don't know, man. Sean O'Malley doesn't seem interested in rematching him. I think he probably has to.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing if Sean does it, just because you're fighting like a fringe top fighter in that division before you really launch up into the top dudes if you can get by them.
Sure.
So I don't think it's a bad thing. It's just one of those things where like, damn, you really just would have loved to have seen like the coronation of a new challenger that night.
It's fair.
And just sort of ended anticlimactically. But that was the big UFC card from last weekend.
Sounds
interesting
awesome.
stuff.
Yes.
I mean, it's just interesting because it's in two of the divisions that are just like starting to get held up. Welterweight is sort of getting into that same spot with Usman being just as dominant as he is. But
I think as a seasoned UFC fan, I'm very upset
Yes.
that people didn't get punched more.
exactly. No, honestly, most of the fights were pretty good.
Yeah.
Just the main event was just a little slow.
Nah, it sucks.
Yeah, if I had to pick what happens next, I'd like to see Volkanovski go up and fight Oliveira for the 55 belt, see if he can go double champ status. I think I'd pick Oliveira because he freaking finishes anybody, it seems like. He's fought great, powerful strikers and held his own. He submits damn near everybody.
Yeah.
Like this guy, like granted, this is interesting because Volkanovski fought the best jiu-jitsu guy at 45 in Ortega and survived 2 really, really deep chokes. But Oliveira is a whole different animal. And for Adesanya, I guess I'd like to see him fight Pereira because it's somebody who can strike with him on a presumably even-ish level.
Yeah.
And there's at least some question of can Pereira win because Pereira beat him twice kickboxing.
Yeah.
But I think that fight's pretty obvious in terms of like if it goes to the scorecards, Adesanya would win. If it's a finish, it's probably Pereira. But so yeah, moving on from the UFC to the NFL.
Yes.
Baker Mayfield has been traded to the Carolina Panthers.
Officially happened.
What are your thoughts?
What are my thoughts? Immediately, my thoughts are I like the move.
Okay.
I think they're realistically as a human being. I think the Browns should have been paying for everything for what they did to Baker.
It's so tough.
It's
They can't though.
I know, but still, like
They're still paying some of it.
they're paying half. They're paying a third of it.
Well, dude, they play week 1.
That's what I'm excited about. Is that week 1 is going to be sick because I get to watch Drew Lock absolutely destroy the Denver Broncos, and then I get to cap it off with hopefully the Browns getting absolutely smacked by Baker, and we get an Ohio State, Oklahoma, kind of pop off from it.
Dude, I think here's what I'll say.
Okay.
I think that he is the second best quarterback in the NFC South.
Easy.
Brady is far ahead.
Yeah. I'd rather have Baker than anybody else.
I still think that the Panthers will finish third.
Yeah.
Because I will still take the Saints over them.
I wouldn't.
The rest of the Saints roster is way better. If Baker is not so overwhelmingly good, that he's gonna we've seen it with the Browns. The Browns have had great rosters, but they'll still struggle because he's not that guy that fixes everything. But it makes Carolina not viable to win the NFC South. I think Tampa Bay is pretty clearly going to win the NFC South, barring injury. But it puts Carolina as a definitive third, I guess, ahead of Atlanta. They might be able to battle with New Orleans a little bit, but the problem is the rest of the Saints are just way better.
I think Carolina is the best team he could have gone to. I think it's better than Seattle. I
would have rather seen him in Seattle.
Well, yeah, because he would have. Seattle's terrible. So.
Well, no, he's got better weapons than Seattle.
Well, yeah, but I think if you keep DJ Moore healthy and if you keep Christian McCaffrey healthy, which I think is possible with the kind of. You can ask Baker to play good enough offense that you don't have to rely on C-Mac.
So when McCaffrey gets hurt in week 2, what are we doing?
I think you still have a better chance of getting to. Here's how I see it. Baker gets him to 7 wins. I think that's second in the NFC South.
I think 7 wins is third. I don't think they make playoffs. I think the same. No, I don't. I think that 7 wins is second because I think New Orleans gets 8 or 9.
I just don't believe in New Orleans at all, and I believe in the defense. I
believe in their offense enough,
dude.
No longer
Sean Payton.
I know, but hold on.
Who is their guy? I don't even know.
Dennis Allen's the head coach, so he was their D coordinator the last few years.
I know that
they basically kept the entire coaching staff the same except Sean Payton.
I don't think that works.
I think it works better than the Panthers coaching staff, and I think
look,
the Saints defense is going to be elite again. They have Michael Thomas, Chris
Thomas
Olave,
sucks, dude.
Alvin Kamara. Those are
Alvin Kamara might be suspended.
yeah, but listen, dude. Those three, like, okay, fine. You want to like?
I think Alvin.
Okay, listen. Then I'll call running back a wash because Alvin Kamara is going to be gone, but Christian McCaffrey is going to be gone after week 1.
I don't believe that. I mean, we'll see. I mean, injuries are obviously been a thing with him. I think until I don't
Dude,
know.
here's the thing. The Saints at this point are just a better run, more well-oiled machine. They are structured better. The Panthers are going to be dramatic.
But Baker thrives in drama.
Not really.
Look at him.
Look at him. Traded already.
Traded already because the team that drafted him and he brought to
They
the
were going
playoffs,
to be, dude. They were going to be looking for other people anyway.
because he played through an injury for a team that he gave his heart and soul for.
That does not listen.
It was a bad move by him to play with his shoulder injured.
Yes, it was. But let's be honest here. Hold on. I am taking him in 0 games against Josh Allen, in 0 games against Patrick Mahomes, in 0 games against Joe Burrow.
He's 2-0 against Joe Burrow.
I don't care. I don't care. Okay, fine. I'll take him against Joe Burrow.
Don't do that, though.
You just did, yeah. But, like, if I'm comparing him to the other quarterbacks in the AFC, he's like a better version of Tua.
Hey, and here's what I'm saying. Now that he's not in the AFC, he's in a crappy NFC. I don't think the Saints are as good as they...
But he's not going to get out of his division.
I think he plays well enough to be the second best quarterback. I think he's the second best quarterback in that division, like you said.
But Tampa will still smash them.
Of course. Well, duh, it's Tampa.
Yes, but here's what that means now. It means that no matter what, the best you can hope for is a wild card. And I don't think Carolina's one of like the next best 3 teams outside.
Yeah.
So he's not getting to the playoffs. So what's the matter?
I think it gives you a situation where you can at least not have to worry about quarterback.
How shitty is it going to be if Sam Darnold beats him out?
There's no way.
Could you imagine?
They're so dumb.
They go the first overall pick. What was Sam Darnold? The 4th overall pick or 3rd? Yeah. So 1st and 3rd from that draft. Let's see.
I can't believe they're teammates. That's actually wild to me.
I'm shocked. If I was the Browns, I would have been like, give me Sam Darnold.
I would have taken Sam Darnold. Absolutely.
I would have flipped it because I'm like, you know what, dude? We got a really good roster. Deshaun's not playing to start the year.
How crazy would that have been, though? The 1st and 3rd overall pick ended up being
whatever to me.
Different teams.
I would, if I was the Browns, I'm like, I need something at this spot.
You don't have it in Jacoby.
No,
not at all.
No,
I think absolutely as a. Look, I'm a little bit of a Baker fan. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not gonna die.
I don't hate Baker.
I don't hate him. I want to see what he does for Carolina, and I think he's actually the best quarterback in that locker room for sure. I think Baker's. I think we all forget how talented this.
Where does he rank in like the NFC? So like here, I'm gonna go through some NFC like top dogs.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, don't play with me.
Sure, of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Brady, don't play. I'm just getting these ones out of the way.
Yeah, of course. Brady.
Okay. NFC East, I'll take Dak over him.
I'll take Baker. 100%.
I'll take Dak for consistency.
I'll take Baker 100%.
All right.
Because Dak is nothing without Amari Cooper, and I think that's going to be proven.
I don't know that it's Amari Cooper. I think it's a true number 1, and it all depends on CeeDee Lamb.
I think.
But what's Baker without a true number 1?
That's what I'm saying is that I'd rather, if you have a true number 1, I'd rather have Baker than Dak.
All right. Jalen Hurts. I'll take Baker, but I think they're pretty close.
Baker. Leagues above.
Who the hell's in Washington? Carson Wentz. I'll take Baker.
Baker. And I actually think Wentz will do good.
Danny Dimes. I'll take Baker.
I'll take Baker.
Justin Fields.
Baker. No.
On that team, I don't think anybody looks good. So I don't know.
No. Justin has not looked good.
If Baker was on the Bears, he wouldn't look good either.
Baker brought the Browns to the playoffs. We're literally, bro, like...
I don't care. Like, I'm talking like
everything.
Dude, if you put Justin Fields...
Everything you're giving a pass to Justin Fields for because it's the Bears... 2-3 years ago...
Yeah, that was the Browns.
People were saying the same thing with the Browns, and then he proved them wrong.
But the last 3 years have not been that way.
I do not blame Baker. This past year alone, I would say the year.
Listen,
after,
he showed heart this year.
The year after they made playoffs, absolutely, there was a little bit of a slump. But I blame I blame that on the organization. I genuinely do not want to. Like,
all right, cool. You can take Baker, but I'm saying that
I'll give Baker his due.
I'll take Baker over Fields, but I'll put it like this: I don't think we're gonna get a real good, accurate read of what Fields even is. So okay, moving on.
Fair.
Goff. I
Baker.
mean,
I'll go Baker.
He's
I'll go Baker.
Oh.
No disrespect to Goff. I do like Goff.
This is the tough part because I think Baker might be better, but goddamn, has Goff looked better when he has the right team around him.
He's even looked pretty decent for the Lions.
Yeah, I know.
As they've gotten better.
I think we're talking dudes who are on the same level. I'm going to take Jared Goff just because I think they're close, and you took Baker Mayfield.
And
then I'm going to I'll take Kirk Cousins over him.
I think you got more proven consistency in Cousins.
And I think Cousins is easier to manage.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to take Kirk Cousins.
I like a guy with some sauce.
No, I agree, but Baker has not earned the right to be like pounding his chest on everything.
I want a quarterback like that, and granted, I got a bit of an ego myself. So.
No, so do I, but I'm like, I want the person who's doing that to at least, like, I don't want to have to answer questions as like, oh yeah, he was talking shit when he shouldn't be talking shit.
As a guy who talks shit when he shouldn't talk shit, I gotta go Baker.
Fine, but I think on some level, the maturity here, I'll take Cousins.
I love Cousins. I actually do kind of like Cousins.
All right, fine, Drew Lock. I'm getting right down to it.
They're the same guy, except one can throw it deep and one's accurate.
If you put them together, they'd make a good quarterback.
They'd be a fantastic quarterback.
Yeah, all right.
I think
I'm taking Trey Lance because I think he's going to play better next year because his situation is infinitely better.
I'll tell you what, I'll pick Drew Lock and Baker over Trey Lance next year. I need to see Trey Lance do it. I have not seen him do it.
No, you haven't. You haven't seen Drew Lock do it either.
I have seen him do it.
Shut up. All right.
3 touchdowns and 300 yards against the Texans. Woo-hoo! That game gave me a massive erection. 100%.
Dude.
Drew Lock's a man.
Drew Lock ain't shit. All right, Kyler, don't play. Really?
Fuck.
Be real,
like
Kyler.
Kyler. Baker. I go Baker.
Kyler all day, every single fucking day of the week.
I'd rather have Baker.
Stafford. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then the NFC South, you'd rather have.
That's just how terrible the NFC.
You'd rather have Baker over Jameis, Baker over Mariota. I don't blame you for those.
Yeah.
I don't hate. Here's the problem: if Jameis hits
crazy, I have him as like what, the 4th best quarterback.
Jameis's peak, I'll take. But the problem is,
the peaks and the valleys you have to look into both of those. Everybody would love Jameis's peak.
Yeah, I know. But again,
Jameis's peak is what we were hoping to get over.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem I have with Baker. Baker is just as inconsistent as a lot of these dudes. And he's not going into a real good situation in Carolina. So I don't think it's going to go well. But he makes them better than they would have been.
Carolina's interesting for sure. We'll have to see.
I don't even think they're interesting. I still think that they are definitively dug in at number 3 in the South.
I think they can prove that they're number 2, but I think number 2 in that division again is 7 wins. Like, I think it's just prove that you're better than last year.
Yeah.
Baker proved that you're fucking healthy and can throw the fucking ball. Because if you look like you did in Cleveland again, post-injury, unable to fucking, throwing those fucking wild-ass balls and unable to look like the guy he used to be, then we obviously
That's the problem. I think Baker needs to understand that he cannot make some of the throws he's trying to make.
That's fair.
His arm is not... Listen, he might have been able to do it in college at Oklahoma when all the teams they played didn't play defense.
He needs to learn a more Breeze-style approach.
He is not Patrick Mahomes. He is not Josh Allen. He is not Justin Herbert in terms of, like, arm.
Sure.
Where it's like, you got to watch yourself, and he's not going to. But
if he was able to learn how to... And I think maybe a humbling situation like being traded and getting out of Cleveland, with all this bullshit that's going on right now. I think if he can turn around this season and play smart football and be very accurate, I do think, do what he goes back to doing what he did well.
I just don't think he will.
I think he very much could be able to be the guy for Carolina that they don't need to worry about a quarterback.
Again, I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just don't think he's a life changer. Now this with him going,
He's a guy you can build around.
With this going, with this going though, or
Okay.
with him going there, it makes one last question for quarterbacks.
Okay.
It involves my team. What the hell are they gonna do with Jimmy Garoppolo? I am perfectly okay to just fucking cut him.
You just want to cut him at this point?
I don't want him on this team.
You can get a second-round pick for him still.
No, because who's gonna do it now?
Falcons.
No.
Yeah, Falcons would love that a quarterback right now.
You know what? The only option in the only realistic option is send his ass to the Browns.
So that's the funniest thing. So the rumors I'm hearing is Falcons, Browns, and Texans. I don't want him in the AFC because
Dude,
the
I think
AFC's stacked as it is.
If I'm the Falcons, I don't do it because I am completely.
The Falcons are in rebuild mode.
Well, I am completely dug in on the idea that we are rebuilding. I am not trading assets for an injury-prone quarterback right now. No, sir.
I think I would if it's a low enough price because of this whole saga. If it's a 4th-round pick for Jimmy,
Nope.
Bro, I'm spending a 4th-round pick because if he gets injured, we're getting a higher 1st-round pick.
No.
So I'm like, and if that's
he's
what
not,
the goal is to take it, and if he's not, then we have a fucking quarterback, and we just play, and we got to be smart.
You don't have a quarterback.
I think Jimmy's serviceable, especially again,
if you're the Falcons, you don't want serviceable right
in
now.
the fucking NFC with 5 quarterbacks who I can name who are good. I would say absolutely he needs to stay in the NFC.
Send him to the Browns.
If he goes to the Browns, his career's over. If he goes to the Texans, his career's over. I don't know why you hate this guy other than one overthrow.
He is incapable.
It is wild to me.
He's incapable of staying healthy. He's incapable of winning in the big moments when it's on him. When it's everybody else on that team, they win. But as soon as they're like, okay, Jimmy, we need you right here, it will never happen.
Damn.
Even in New England, again, my 2 favorite teams, 49ers and Patriots, I have watched him a lot. He is not tough. He's pretty soft, and he's a limited arm and a limited brain. God damn it.
Damn.
And I was not sold on him when we were on our Super Bowl run.
Fair enough.
Because, dude, it's so obvious what teams think of a guy based on like how they choose to win. The fact that they threw the ball against the Vikings and the Packers like under 10 times each game says everything you need to know about how much they trust him.
I don't know. I like the guy.
You can like him all you want.
I like the guy.
You can have him. Have him in Cleveland, dude. I'm done.
Do not want that at all, but
I do.
I need as little. We have enough quarterbacks in the AFC as absolutely possible.
Trust me, this is not one of the high-end ones.
I don't care. I don't need. We just get Matt Ryan thrown in the fucking mix when I thought it was all over. So I am not fucking. I genuinely thought Jimmy was going to the Colts. So it is interesting to see where he'll go now. My money is genuinely.
Dude, I'm saying Cleveland because I think Atlanta is completely all in on rebuilding.
I mean,
Cleveland needs something.
What are they going to trade? They're gonna
Miles Garrett.
Miles Garrett.
They're going to give us Miles Garrett for Jimmy
give,
Garoppolo. We'll pair him with Nick Bosa.
And
it'll be good times.
Wow. Sounds like a great Madden trade, buddy.
I know. I'm going to go trade for that on Madden tonight. I'll take draft picks. I don't care.
I think he's got the best chance to go to the Falcons if they want him. And that's the thing. If they want him, they may not.
Don't do it.
But I think that's the best team. I think that's the best chance for him to go anywhere that isn't getting cut.
Dude, I don't care where he goes. Send him somewhere else. I'm saying from the Falcons' perspective, you shouldn't want him because when you're the Falcons right now, your whole thing is we are freeing up our salary cap because we've been paying awful money to bad players.
Nobody wants to look like they're tanking, though.
I don't care what it looks like. You need to do. Well, listen, I'll put it this way, Atlanta. If you get Jimmy, it's still going to look like you're tanking.
If Jimmy is everything that you say he is like that's not the common opinion of him. So like I genuinely don't like, bro.
Why has nobody wanted him?
Because he's injured and getting fucking surgery.
Just like every year.
I don't know. I think there's still, if you're Atlanta and your prospect is Marcus Mariota and you just spent a 1st-round pick on Drake London, you probably want to put some fucking seats in some asses in the seats.
I'd rather Marcus Mariota.
I would not. You are personally biased and you need to admit it right now.
I'm absolutely
that you would rather
biased.
have Marcus Mariota over a guy who's gone to the Super Bowl.
I think the proper term was carried to the Super Bowl.
Oh my god.
Dude, did you watch those playoff games?
I did.
They ran all over everybody, and as soon as he had to throw the ball, they lose the damn game.
Look, I am known for roasting quarterbacks who have had to rely on their fucking rest of the team. So, granted, I'm the person who went straight towards Teddy Bridgewater when everyone said he was 3-0 for the Broncos. And I was like, bro, he threw 0 touchdowns against the Jets. Well, he didn't need to. The run game took care of it. We got Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams. I don't give a shit. How do you not throw a fucking touchdown against the fucking Jets?
Yeah.
How are you that fucking bad?
No,
that
I get
you can't
it.
throw a goddamn touchdown against the fucking New York Jets.
Dude.
So I'm with you.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, the 49ers have been so lucky in that they're the one team that goes far without a good quarterback.
I don't think that's possible to do in the
It's
NFL.
absolutely possible because
the Broncos have been trying to do it forever.
how the hell? Yeah, okay. Well, obviously the 49ers have everything else better than the Broncos.
Yeah.
But like, listen. How big a part in the Green Bay game? Like, how big a part did he play in winning that Green Bay playoff game?
Not huge.
Yeah.
But I don't think, again, in playoffs when you're playing conservatively with the intention of winning and moving on, as opposed to racking up stats or if you know you can run through a team that has a terrible run defense,
Do you want to know?
You're gonna go for.
Do you want to know the only reason we lost to the Rams?
Why?
Because we went up against a team that is like equally matched to us in most ways, but has a better quarterback for a third time. You can't keep beating them the exact same way 3 times. We can bully ball them twice in a year, sure. But like the third time you need to do something different, and his ass couldn't freaking hit the broadside of a barn.
No, man. But we'll have to see what Lance does this year. If Lance doesn't work, you
I would rather take that chance.
Oh, well, all right. Well, I have a question then regarding Lance. If Lance doesn't work and you spent all of this draft capital to move up and go get him, what next?
I wasn't huge on that trade when it happened. I thought we should have traded for a veteran quarterback. Depending on how catastrophic it is, you probably fire everybody. That's a fireable thing. And that's why I can't stand the Green Bay guys getting away with this. It's like you clearly went up and whiffed, and now you've had to mortgage everything else to keep Aaron Rodgers, and you've given up a lot of other good players on your team, but it's all going to be fine. But no, it's like, listen, we need to just find out. He is a better athlete. He's got a bigger arm, and he'll make a few boneheaded decisions, but so did Jimmy. Fine. I don't care. I need to see the potential for a higher end than like the ball's only getting thrown in the middle of the field or really short routes. Like he does not stretch the field at all. Lance at the very least threatens it because he'll freaking throw a 70-yard bomb at least once a game.
Yeah.
Whether it gets completed or not, I don't know.
Sure.
But he has the potential to run. He's got a bigger arm. I'd rather see that.
Sure. Well, we will have to see.
We will. And I am so if I see Jimmy Garoppolo on this fucking team in week 1, I might not be able to root for them. I'll be so damn mad.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he goes because now at this point, there's no other quarterback to be talking about at moving teams. It is everybody who is not going to be on their team is now moved. It looks like Kyler's about to get an extension. Yeah, I genuinely any of the other quarterback stories we've had leading
they're
up
pretty
to this
much been
point
dealt
are
with.
done. Yeah, it's really just Jimmy G now.
But now it's just my goddamn issue. But hopefully that'll be resolved soon enough. Now, we are moving on to somewhat of our main event for the evening, the all-time bracket. And so here are the basic rules on what this is and the premise. We pick the ideal 11-man lineup on offense and defense and 3 special teamers, a kicker, a punter, and a punt returner. We're going division by division while we do this. You can use any player that is ever suited up for the team, but you can only get the version of that player in their time with that team. So any other accomplishments they had, if it wasn't for that team, it does not count here. So also, if you choose a player who was there 1 year, or like a player past their prime, you don't get access to their accomplishments at all. So it's like Deion Sanders is a really good example of this because he's the best player ever in his position. He moved teams a lot. Baltimore had him at the very end. That does not mean you get Atlanta, San Francisco, or Dallas Deion.
Yeah, you don't get prime Deion for his entire career.
Exactly. Randy Moss is another great example of like even in his prime, he had down years with certain teams. Just because you claim Randy Moss does not mean you get Minnesota or New England Randy Moss. You get your team's version.
Yeah.
We are also, this is very important, we are playing with rules from the 2000s because it's an era of really, like, you could just win a ton of ways in the 2000s. You could have a great running back that could carry you far. Defense could win you championships. The league was very balanced offensively and getting into the passing era even more. So it's like you had dominant receivers, dominant backs, dominant defenses. That era of football was like really balanced. So we're doing like that era rules wise. So we're not doing the soft little bullshit from today. This bracket is set up like the NFL playoffs, basically, where there will be 8 division winners and 6 wild cards, and that will all be determined by your vote, and our personal brackets will be what we say. And so you will go to social media to vote on the polls and decide which teams advance. We're going to start off today with the AFC East. We're going to go Buffalo, Miami, New England, then the Jets, and then give you our thoughts at the very end on who we think wins that division. So starting off in Buffalo, and we're gonna go. This is gonna be pretty snappy, by the way. It's like, we're not gonna go through the life story of every single player. But yeah, so head coach Mark Levy, 4 straight Super Bowl appearances, coach of the year in '88, all-time winningest coach in Bills history. Enough said.
Should have gotten a ring.
Yep, agreed. You got the same guy?
Same guy.
Sweet.
To move on to quarterback, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
Believe it or not, no disrespect to Jim Kelly at all, but I'm a Josh Allen guy.
And color me shocked because I thought he was going to be a purist, and I went Josh Allen also.
Perfect.
I just think he's a better athlete at the position. He's an insane athlete, and I happen to hold the belief that he is going to win Buffalo their first Super Bowl.
100% I agree. I think he's just an absolute beast, completely different type of athlete in the NFL. I think he's athletic and with a cannon, and not only has improved every single year, but I don't see a ceiling on this guy at all. I think he can only get better.
This is a huge projection, but I'm pretty confident in this one. Out of all the projections, I feel good about this one.
Yeah, I agree.
So, running back, I went with O.J. Simpson. Off the field stuff notwithstanding, he is like one of the definitive backs in the entire history of this league, and arguably the best player, just as a player, to ever put on the Bills uniform.
Take the off the field stuff off the table, and you absolutely have a great athletic specimen, total stud. Unfortunate how life works out, unfortunately. But I'm a little bit more of a Thurman Thomas guy.
A little more versatile.
Yeah, I think he's a little bit more versatile. He's a running guy from that whole stretch when they went through 4 different Super Bowls.
Yep.
One of those guys I actually kind of agree with, like, man, should have gotten a ring. Him and
that is a common theme with the Bills.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of these dudes that absolutely deserve to win at least one of those damn Super Bowls.
There's a couple of these guys I feel bad for.
So, wide receiver 1, I went Andre Reed. Okay. Bills all-time receiving leader. Yeah. Multiple Pro Bowls, multiple All-Pros. Most reliable weapon of Jim Kelly during those years where they went to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Wide receiver 1, Andre Reed.
That's right there with you. I would love to see him a true number 1 guy. Not that Stephon Diggs isn't, but the offense that we're building around Josh Allen, a guy like that would just be so great to have.
And speaking of Stephon Diggs, that's why I have a wide receiver 2. Stephon Diggs.
Right there with you. I love Diggs. Like I said, I think he's top 4 wide receiver in the league right now. His connection with Josh Allen, again, I don't care how stacked this offense is. I want one guy who Josh Allen knows he can throw it to.
And I think it's also I think it's great to state that going forward, with him just being extended in Buffalo, him and Josh Allen are only going to grow together. Man. So I think this is another bit of a projection, but
I think it fits. I think it's a fair one.
Yeah. And then I went 3 receivers. So at wide receiver 3, I got Eric Moulds. Another consistent Pro Bowler and All-Pro.
Right there with you.
Tight end. Pete Metzelaars, I hope I said it right. I'm sorry if I didn't. Not necessarily a receiving threat, but a running threat. And when you have O.J. Simpson, that's equally valuable.
I got Charles Clay.
Okay.
In the brief period that I got to watch Charles Clay play for Buffalo, love the receiving threat that he brought. Didn't matter who his quarterback was. He was going to be a red zone threat I can't even really name any other wide receivers during that time. So it was literally just Charles Clay
in Buffalo.
Yeah, during Charles Clay's time. I can't name
Might have been Stevie Johnson. He might have still been there.
Maybe. Yeah.
No, nobody of huge note though.
No, I can't even. Yeah, like I said, I'm drawing a blank on names.
Yeah.
I would like in an offense like this. No disrespect to Thurman, but we got Josh Allen here. We're air raiding the hell out of this. So
Yep.
I'm going to go with Charles Clay.
And moving on to the big guys up front. Left tackle, Jason Peters. Athletic freak. Really started coming into his prime in Buffalo. And former tight end. Looked great, but ended up going to Philly for the rest of his career, or most of the rest of his career. But really started coming into his own there.
Yeah, I got the same guy.
Sweet. Left guard, Joe DeLamior.
Yes,
Again,
Yep.
Sorry if I got it wrong. Multiple time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, blocked for O.J. Simpson, so we have that consistency there.
Yep.
Center, Kent Hull, 3-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro. I know they're just really consistent player on the line.
I'm right there with you.
Right guard, Billy Shaw. This is like the oldest player I think on the roster. We have an AFL All-Star and AFL
Classic
all
60s
AFL guy.
Yep.
So yeah, this guy goes way back, grinder. I think it's easier to translate on the O-line or D-line than it is in some other positions on here. So I feel comfortable putting that there.
Yeah.
Then right tackle, I got Will Wolford.
Yeah.
Another Pro Bowler, All-Pro. Again, we just it's just O-line. Just don't be weak. Damn it.
Yeah,
and we are full of a lot of good players
be proven
and a couple
you can
great
protect
ones.
my quarterback.
Exactly.
That's what I care about.
Now moving on to the defensive side of the ball,
Okay.
we're going to get the real obvious one out of the way right now. Bruce Smith.
Yep.
First player to ever hit 100 sacks, Bills all-time sack leader, 11-time Pro Bowler, 8-time first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro, 2-time defensive player of the year, and obviously a Hall of Famer.
Nothing more needs to be said, to be honest. I got
Yep.
him too. Yep.
And then I went with 4 D linemen for mine, by the way. So I got 2 D tackles. I got Kyle Williams and Marcel Darius, 2 modern players. Kyle Williams, really just duration in Buffalo. He was there a long time.
Yeah.
Multiple-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro. Marcel Darius wasn't there as long, but his peak was a first-team All-Pro season.
Yeah.
So getting a first-team All-Pro at the other D tackle spot, I like, and along with super consistent Kyle Williams.
Darius was just absolutely a monster wrecker. Dude could destroy your O-line even if it was absolutely shored up the way that you thought it would.
Yeah.
Got him on my list as well. And then, I'm a Kyle Williams fan myself.
Nice.
Yeah.
At my other DN spot, I got Aaron Schobel,
Okay.
second all-time in sacks for the Bills,
Yep.
and another Pro Bowler and All-Pro. So we
Easy pick.
are littering those on this Bills roster.
Yeah, we've got pretty much the same.
He's also from the modern era, and I don't know if it's still this way, but I know when he retired, he held the record for the most sacks on Tom Brady.
Really?
Which is, it's always nice for Bills fans to hear that you
gotta
beat up Brady a little bit, right?
You gotta have something against Brady.
Exactly, gotta have something.
It's been brutal.
I really wanted the Bills to get to the Super Bowl last year just to be stare across the sideline. We finally got to the Super Bowl and see Tom
Brady.
Fucking Brady.
Oof. Man, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah, I really wanted that matchup. So moving on to linebacker, we've got 3 linebackers. Cornelius Bennett as one of them, 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All-Pro.
Yep.
And then I got Tremaine Edmonds at middle backer.
Right.
Projecting again, I think he's just a really athletic middle backer, and the Bills' defense has been really consistently great in recent years.
Sure.
He's a big part of that. Been a Pro Bowler. So I'm going Tremaine Edmonds.
Okay. Yeah, I need to see a little bit more from Tremaine Edmonds, but
Fair
the
enough.
good news is I've seen enough constant progress that I'm kind of interested in, and I really do think that we're about to get one of the best Bills defenses we've seen in quite some time.
Yeah.
The addition of Von Miller is going to be interesting. I think even if Von Miller isn't at peak Von Miller, he's such an athletic freak that, as paired with a great defense, he's going to be it's going to be almost like DeMarcus Ware coming to Denver at the end of his career.
Yeah, now he takes on the DeMarcus Ware role.
Yeah, very much.
Cornerback 1, moving in, second.
Listen,
My third linebacker is Daryl Talley. Sorry about that.
Yep, Tally's a man.
Yep. Another really consistent Pro Bowl, All-Pro guy.
Yep.
A lot of these dudes played in that era where they were going to the Super Bowl and never won it, and it's just like, damn, man. These dudes really deserve them.
It was a bummer for
sure. So cornerback. The secondary is actually mostly modern. So cornerback 1, I got Tre'Davious White.
Yep, same.
Mostly because one of the best lockdown corners, but he's also a ball hawk. He's been an interceptions co-leader, and I like that a lot.
Yep.
My second one...
Giller?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he didn't really peak until New England.
Yeah.
But I think talent-wise, he absolutely has it in him to have always been number 2 in his Buffalo years.
Sure.
So when you put Tre'Davious White over there, I think you get something much closer to a New England version of Gilmore.
And I'd love to see both of them together.
Yeah. So I think as a number 2, that Buffalo version of Gilmore is perfectly serviceable.
Yeah.
Free safety. An older one, a sort of forgotten player in like the annals of Bills history, Jairus Byrd.
I love Jairus Byrd.
I know. He played there during the years where Buffalo's awful.
Yep.
But he still managed to be a Pro Bowler and All-Pro. He led the NFL in interceptions with 9 from the safety position.
Yep.
Ball hawk. I like to have ball hawks in the secondary generally.
Yes, sir.
So I got Tre'Davious White and Jairus Byrd for that. And in strong safety, I went Micah Hyde.
Yep.
I almost went Jordan Poyer.
Yeah.
But I just think that the difference is basically like Hyde has one more All-Pro team. That's really the biggest difference. And
I
think
he's
he's
the best safety duo in the league right now.
Might be. And I just like the versatility of Micah Hyde. He also has more like
incredibly underrated.
His history comes from Green Bay. So it's like when he came to Buffalo, he already understood winning a little bit more than Jordan Poyer coming off of being in Cleveland and stuff like that.
I think he's a great he's a great leader for that locker room.
Yeah. So I went Micah Hyde for versatility's sake. Yep. And then kicker, I went Dan Carpenter because he's just the most accurate kicker for the Bills ever. Sure. And I think that in a bracket of all-time players like this, we can't be missing kicks.
100%. I'm actually going to go with a modern player here. I'm Tyler Bass guy. Yeah. After 1 year, I'm convinced he might be the best kicker in their franchise history.
Fair enough.
It's all said and done.
All right, punter, I went Brian Moorman.
Same.
Just really consistent net yards and averages, and did it over a long period of time in Buffalo where the weather's rough.
Kick that fucking ball.
Yeah, so I'm going him, and then for my return guy, I went Terrence McGee, just highest average returns and touchdowns. He's not going to do it every time, obviously, but
no one will.
Consistency's sake, that's what we're looking for on special teams.
Yep.
In a bracket like this. There's only a few true like weapons and game changers in the history of special teams.
Yeah.
But what we cannot be is bad.
Yeah. You need to have someone reliable, and if you've got that, take it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So moving on from the frozen hell of Buffalo, we go to sunny South Beach.
Beautiful.
And the Miami Dolphins.
Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Happy to be in Miami. Again, some pretty obvious ones. Don Shula.
Easy.
Yep, coached the perfect team, like the only team to ever have a perfect season. Drafted Dan Marino. He's like multiple like NFL anniversary teams.
Yep.
You can't go wrong with Don Shula. That layup. Speaking of layups, quarterback.
Dan Marino.
Let's say it. I was about to say, let's say it together.
Nope, I gotta get it out. Dan
Fine,
Marino.
Ryan Tannehill.
I know you wanted to hit me with that.
I wanted Ryan Tannehill, damn you. No, it's Dan Marino. And again, just so obvious.
It's Dan Marino through and through. There's really nothing you can say to really justify it as otherwise, unless you're a huge Tua fan, in which case I feel sorry for you.
He put up great modern numbers in the 80s and the 90s.
When the league was not modern. And you cannot forget his Ace Ventura cameo.
Yes,
great actor.
Listen, dude, Dan Marino made Jim Carrey. That's all that matters.
Tell your friends.
Yeah, exactly. No, Marino put up numbers that would make Patrick Mahomes blush today.
Yeah.
And
420 touchdowns, 61,361 yards, 4,967 completions. He was doing what Patrick Mahomes was doing fucking 4 years ago.
Yeah. And I always like to throw this in. Hall of Famer and Walter Payton Man of the Year. So shout out to Dan Marino.
Give it up.
Running back, I went one back again, Larry Zonka.
Same.
Dolphins all-time rushing leader and a Hall of Famer.
Fucking stud.
And a Super Bowl champion for the Dolphins.
Fucking stud. Dude's just a fucking tank.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 1, I went Paul Warfield.
Okay.
Another Hall of Famer. He wasn't in Miami as long as the other two guys,
Sure.
but his stint in Miami was the most dominant.
Sure.
So I went with him at 1. Who you got at 1?
I got Mark Clayton at 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got him at 2.
Yeah, I think just you got to get your guy for Dan Marino. He's one of them. 550 catches, 8,643 yards, 81 touchdowns, 5 Pro Bowls. Dude's a stud.
Yeah, stud. So yeah, I got Warfield, Clayton, and then my last receiver for Miami is the other Mark Duper.
Yep.
I paired them up.
A little Marx Brothers action.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, sir.
Who are your other 2 receivers?
I got Mark Duper as well.
Okay.
And then again, unfortunately, I think that Tyreek Hill might be one of the best Dolphins wide receivers we've ever seen. Love Paul Warfield, but I would.
We are contributing an entire 0 receptions, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns in a Dolphins uniform.
And I still think absolutely one of the best wide receivers they'll ever have in their career when it's all said in their franchise when it's all said.
All right.
But Paul Warfield is absolutely deserved of that spot.
All right, man. Fair enough. So we have 2 receivers contributing from him and 1 who's done nothing. And then tight end, went modern, Gesicki.
I went Gesicki as well.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that
guy, great hands.
I think that most teams that have had a good tight end in the last 20 years, that will probably be the tight end just because of how much that position has evolved.
Yeah.
And Gesicki, he's not the best tight end in the league today, but he is formidable enough, and that makes him the best in Dolphins history for sure.
I think he's incredibly underrated.
Where do you put him?
In the league?
Yeah, today.
Top 5.
He's got to be 5 then.
He's 5, but I think we'll watch some of his game tape. So I think you got Kittle number 1.
Kittle, Kelsey, Waller, Andrews.
Kittle, Kelsey, Andrews.
He's done too well to be under Gesicki.
He's pretty damn good. Yeah, I think that's a good list. I might be missing somebody.
I think he might be
5th. But he could be top 7.
I think that he'll be losing that number 5 spot fairly rapidly to Kyle Pitts.
We'll see. Both of them don't have a quarterback.
Exactly. All right. So on to the O-line. Left tackle, Richmond Webb.
Same.
Okay, there we go. 90s All-Decade team, multiple-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro, the whole deal.
Fucking monster of a human.
Left guard, Larry Little. Another Hall of Famer on the O-line.
Mm-hmm.
Good for them.
I have him as my right guard.
Okay.
Yep.
Center, Jim Langer. Another Hall of Famer.
Yep. Jim Langer, myself.
Yep. This guy, part of the Super Bowl team, 70s All-Decade team.
Yep. My left guard, I got Bob Kuechenberg.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my right guard, I went more modern. Right. I really want to include players from all these different eras.
Sure.
So my right guard, Mike Pouncey, played right guard at various times throughout his time in Miami and was a Pro Bowler at that spot and was also a really good center for them for a really long time. So I threw Mike Pouncey in at right guard.
I'm a Pouncey guy for sure.
And then right tackle, Jake Long. 4 Pro Bowls and 2 All-Pro teams. I think that's pretty damn good for a right tackle who's only there for a few years.
Sure. I got Norm Evans from 66 to 75. He's got two Pro Bowls in 72 and 74. Just consistent, guy you can keep on the bookend side of the O-line. Keep Dan Marino upright.
Definitely.
Yeah.
D-end. Another really dominant D-end in this division, Jason Taylor.
Yes, sir.
6 Pro Bowls. 3 first-team All-Pros, 1 second, NFL Defensive Player of the Year, sacks leader, forced fumbles leader, 2000s All-Decade team, another Man of the Year, and a Hall of Famer. So Jason Taylor, again, layup.
Yep, an easy one.
Yep. And then D-tackle, Bob Baumauer.
Yep.
I think that's how I'm saying. I think it's how you say it.
Nailed it. Yeah.
5-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro. Great again.
Yep. Just undeniable.
D-tackle 2, I went Manny Fernandez.
Okay.
2-time second-team All-Pro and 2-time Super Bowl champion. Not as heralded, but among Dolphins players of that era, highly, highly, highly regarded.
Mm-hmm. I'm with Tim Bowers myself.
Okay.
267 tackles, 22 sacks, Defensive Player of the Year, 1994. I think both guys are great picks. I went for a guy who's just a little bit on the older side. 2 Pro Bowls from...
Fair enough.
Yeah, back in the day.
At my second DN spot, my other edge rusher, Cameron Wake.
Okay.
5 Pro Bowls, first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro. Love his story. Started off in the CFL and became an elite NFL player. And really, you can make a very strong argument he is the most dominant Dolphin of the modern era.
I gotta agree. Cameron Wake's the man.
Sweet.
I originally had Bill Stanfield myself. 67.5 sacks. Kind of unofficial stat because it was from 69 to 76. So it's bear with me on that one. But 5 Pro Bowls.
Swayed him.
5 Pro Bowls. I put down a little bit more of a Dolphins legend, completely forgetting about Cameron Wake. But then the more I realized, I was like, dude, I'd much rather have Cameron Wake on the opposite side of Jason Taylor.
And so again, 3 linebackers.
Yes,
the
sir.
first one is one of the most unfortunately underrated players of the last 20 years, and that is Zach Thomas. A 7-time Pro Bowler, 5-time first team All-Pro, 2-time second team All-Pro, 2-time tackles leader, 2000s All-Decade team, and it is a travesty that Hall of Fame is not on his resume.
Yeah, it is a damn shame for sure. I'm a big fan of him as well. I got him as my left outside linebacker.
I got him at my mic.
You got him at your mic.
Yep.
I put Nick Buonaconti.
I got him as what would I have him, Sam or Will? I don't even know. One of my outside backers.
Sure. But I got Zach Thomas myself. I got him as my left outside linebacker. Nick Buonaconti is my middle linebacker. 3 Pro Bowls, 3 Super Bowl starts, Hall of Fame guy.
Mm-hmm. Who's your other backer?
Last but not least, I've got John Offerdahl.
Same.
Yep.
So we have the same 3 backers. We
Perfect.
just switched one who's in the middle.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah. Yeah. Offerdahl, another Pro Bowler, All-Pro guy.
Defensive Rookie of the Year, just
another
another monster. Played well for him.
Yes, sir. And then cornerback into the secondary. Sam Madison, I got at cornerback 1.
I got Xavier Howard.
Fair enough. 4-time Pro Bowl, 2-time first team All-Pro, NFL interceptions co-leader, 7 in 99, but that's not even the best that he ever had.
Yep.
He had 8 the year before. So ball hawk. I got Xavier Howard at number 2.
I wanted your guy who you had number 1. What was his name again? I'm sorry.
Sam Madison.
Yep, Sam Madison. Considered it for sure. I actually put Pat Surtain Sr. As my cornerback 2, personal bias. 29 picks, 3 Pro Bowls, first team All-Pro, second team All-Pro, 5 consecutive Pro Bowls, or something along. 3 Pro Bowls.
I went ball hawks in the secondary, and
Yep.
Xavier Howard, 2-time interceptions leader, 7 in 2018, 10 in 2020.
They've had some crazy secondary guys.
You could argue that safety is their weakest position.
Yeah, but I don't even think it's that bad, to be honest.
No, free safety. I went Brock Marion.
I went with Jake Scott.
Yeah. And then strong safety, I went somebody a little more modern because I think that safety is a position that you have to have a certain skill set to play safety in a passing league.
Sure.
And the Dolphins had a very solid safety in very recent years, and that was Rashad Jones.
Yeah.
So I went with him because I think that he's just more well-suited to dealing with these multiple receiver sets and stuff like that.
Sure. I went with Dick Anderson. 34 picks to go along with Jake Scott's 35. 3 touchdowns, 16 fumbles, forced fumbles. He was Defensive Player of the Year back in 1973. Jake Scott was Super Bowl MVP back when, right? Super Bowl MVP? I wrote that down. Yeah, he was Super Bowl MVP back when they played.
Oh my God.
Don't know if they pulled it off, but locking those 2 guys up from the 80s, guys who were able to keep up with some of those dudes who had to be throwing it deep to keep up with Marino's offense and everything. I think these are the 2 guys I want.
Definitely.
In that secondary.
Who you got a kicker?
I got Olinda Mar. All-Pro, NFL leader in field goals made in 1999, 1 Pro Bowl appearance. Like I said, really what I'm looking for, as a former kicker myself, I obviously have some personal preference on bringing guys in. But this is a guy that, we can't miss kicks, especially when we got teams like this.
I'm going with Ray Finkel.
Ray Finkel.
Yeah, naturally.
I'm a big Finkel guy.
Granted, he did miss a pretty important one, but laces were not out. No, I got the same dude, Olinda Mayer.
Yeah. I think he's just, with him being an All-Pro and
everything,
thank God you don't have to worry about kicker. But,
exactly.
Yep.
Punter?
Reggie Robbie, or Roby.
I got Brandon Fields.
Yeah, I thought about Brandon Fields. I actually am a big fan of his. Love the work that he does. Great punter.
Yeah. He's got the longest average punt and most punts down inside the 20 for the Dolphins.
Absolutely, and especially in this day and age, I want a guy who can pin it in the 20.
Yep.
first team All-Pro, 2 Pro Bowls, and league leader for everything in punting history. Gotta go with Reggie Roby just for, I think if you want a little bit more of a finesse guy, I think Brandfield is absolutely the right move. If for whatever reason you get pinned at the 30 and you don't get a first down, Roby's still gonna kick the shit out of that ball.
Fair enough.
And kick it 70, 80 yards.
And then return man, I went Mercury Morris, 26.5 yards per kickoff return, longest in Dolphins history.
I'm gonna go with Wes Welker.
Okay.
I love Wes Welker. Some of the best work that he did that got him really noticed by Bill Belichick and brought in to go be a slot wide receiver was some of his return work that he did for Miami. So I think maybe not the best return man they've ever had.
But your favorite.
But my favorite, agreed. And on a team where again, if your weakest spot is Wes Welker at return man, I think you're doing okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
And speaking of Wes Welker,
yeah, I was gonna say
we are now moving on to the New England Patriots.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. This is a pretty stacked team, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, head coach. Goddamn, I wonder who it could be. Old Billy B, dude, Bill Belichick.
I think he's been head coach of that franchise for as long as I've been alive, basically.
Certainly my consciousness.
For my consciousness at least. I'm 25 years old, and I don't know anybody else coaching that team except for Bill Belichick.
I only recall Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
So, Bill Belichick, 6-time Super Bowl champion, NFL All-Decade team for 2000s and 2010s, 3-time Coach of the Year, NFL 100 team, holds records for most Super Bowl wins by a head coach, Super Bowl appearances, and playoff wins. Speaks for itself.
Yeah, no more.
And just like that, just like Bill's a freaking layup, quarterback, it's the easiest thing I've ever seen. It's Tom Brady.
No Doug Flutie.
No Doug Flutie. I thought about it. No, Tom Brady. Not much needs to be said, dude. You can sum it up in one word, just GOAT.
Yeah, GOAT.
Yeah.
He's a man.
But just to really rub it in, here's what we have for Tom Brady. A 14-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, 6-time Super Bowl champion with the Patriots, 3-time NFL MVP, 2-time Offensive Player of the Year, NFL Comeback Player of the Year, 5-time touchdowns leader, 4-time passing yard, 4-time passing yards leader, 2-time passer rating leader, completion leader, 2000s All-Decade team, 2010s All-Decade team, 100th anniversary team. Here are some of his NFL records. Okay. Most wins by a quarterback, most attempts and completions, most passing touchdowns, most passing yards. Listen.
I'd say it speaks for itself, but
I would say it's
spoke for it.
I would say it's a layup, but this is the slam dunk.
My God, this is like a mascot doing a slam dunk for fun that he's going to make.
Exactly. All right.
To get the crowd hyped up.
So, moving on from the easy ones. Running back, Sam Cunningham is who I went with.
Yeah.
Most yards and attempts in Patriots history. Running back is sort of a thin position for New England, but...
really enough.
Yeah.
I went with Curtis Martin, just another franchise guy who was...
He's only there for like 2 years.
He's a fucking stud when he was, though.
Yeah.
He's like fourth in all-time yards.
Maybe.
Even only being there for 2 years, which again speaks to...
Listen, he's popping up later for me.
Fair enough. He did have some success elsewhere, but I think he was still a stud for New England while he was there.
True. I think you and I are going to diverge here.
Okay.
Wide receiver 1. I went Moss because, okay, yeah. I thought you were going to let your heart take over your mind, and I don't blame you. No, it's Moss. He was there a very short period of time.
Yeah.
But Randy Moss was an absolute monster.
Yeah.
That brief period is the best any player has ever played receiver in New England, plain and simple. So he's wide receiver 1.
I agree. I think he's just an absolute stud. That year was fucking something to watch for sure.
Yeah. I originally... I flipped number 2 and number 3 because I normally want number 3 to be in the slot.
Okay.
But out of respect for this guy, I moved him up to 2. And that's Wes Welker.
Yeah, Wes Welker is my second as well. Duh.
Completely revolutionized the slot position. Completely uncoverable during his time as a Patriot. I would say he was Brady's probably second most reliable target of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Number 2.
Yeah.
Number 1's coming up in a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, multiple-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, receptions leader. Wes Welker was elite for his time in New England.
Absolutely. Changed the way I played football growing up. Like, I wanted to be like that guy. He was my first jersey that I've ever had. It's a Wes Welker jersey. My nickname, when I first started college and was just playing pickup football with my friends was Wes Welker, because I just love to play in the slot, love to get open. Wasn't the fastest, but I can catch anything. And no player in the league means more to me than Wes Welker. And 100%, I got him as number 2. I want him in my slot with Randy Moss on the outside. Like, it's 07 all over again.
Definitely.
And, I think he's absolutely just a monster of can do anything, get open. He's always there. And, man, he was so much fun to watch growing up.
Nice. Wide receiver 3, I went Julian Edelman.
Okay.
He's not as decorated in terms of, like, all pros or Pro Bowls, but he's also uncoverable.
Yeah.
And in just his unique way. And he just represents really the spirit of the Patriots.
Yeah.
Of, like, really hardworking, really unconventional, really tough. And he's just tricky and will always find a way and really embodies that team mentality. And so I think that there's no way he could be left off this list for me.
Originally I put Stanley Morgan, franchise guy, classic Patriots wide receiver, but I actually am changing my mind, going the 180 flip-flop right now. I'm a Julian Edelman fan through and through. My number is actually number 11.
Got through to him.
I love that guy. And Super Bowl MVP on some great catches in the Falcons Super Bowl, as well as some of the great stuff that he did in the Rams Super Bowl, in which he won MVP in. It's a weird conversation to have when you want to start talking about Edelman in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love what Edelman brings to the table. I think the Patriots mindset is something he lives, breathes, and dies on. And absolutely, I think he can be a little bit more outside, even more than Walker can too.
I mean, of the two, I'm gonna let Edelman outside before Wes.
Agreed.
Now on to the tight end position.
Yeah.
I so badly wanted to go 2 tight ends, but I just could not talk myself into the second one. Yeah. But I almost went no running backs. It just went empty.
Wow.
I was like, I'm just going to let Goat throw it all around. But no, tight end, I wonder who it could be. Gronk. Rob Gronkowski all day.
I think he's the best tight end, period.
There's an argument that there are 3 GOATs on the Patriots of their positions, or like coaching and all that stuff. Like the Patriots... Rob Gronkowski is, again, it's like he doesn't even need to be spoken for in terms of all this stuff. Amazing blocker, amazing receiver. Health was the only thing that ever took him down.
Fucking animal.
Oh, God.
One of the reasons
a party animal in particular.
One of the reasons I went to the University of Arizona was because of this fucking guy. I'm a diehard Gronk fan. I got his jersey signed and framed in my room. Big fan of the guy. I think he is the best tight end the league's ever seen. Period.
Yep, I agree. Yep. So, yeah, easy.
Easy peasy.
Yeah. I will not name who my second tight end was going to be.
Aaron Hernandez?
Yeah.
Gone forever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't feel all that bad for Aaron Hernandez.
Not at all.
But I thought about it because I was like, damn, that would be so uncoverable.
That would be a wild offense.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no running back, but I think I can't.
Tom can run.
Tom can run. Yeah, he's got it.
All right, so on to the O-line.
Yeah.
Left tackle, Matt Light.
Okay. I got him as my right tackle.
Fair enough. Part of the first era of the Patriots dynasty. Mm-hmm. Multiple-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, 3-time Super Bowl champion. Gave Tom Brady protection to start his career, and he will do it again now.
Bruce Armstrong, I got him my left tackle, just absolute stud.
That's my right tackle.
Yeah, so we
just flipped our tackles.
That's totally fine.
Yeah.
Go ahead and read some of the stats you got for Bruce.
6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All-Pro. Those are the really important ones to me.
Yeah.
He was like very strong and consistent at his position over the duration of time.
I love the consistency. Would love him to be my blindside guy for Brady, because then I don't ever have to worry about him.
Exactly.
Yep. Same with Matt Light though.
Left guard, John Hanna.
John Hanna too. 9 Pro Bowls, 7 All-Pro, 7 years All-Pro.
Yep.
And
Hall of Famer.
Hall of Famer.
Yep. Another old school guy that really he played for the Patriots in the era where the Patriots were not that good.
Yep.
And now he gets to play on a very good Patriots
the best
team.
Patriots roster
yes,
ever.
He is undoubtedly worthy of being an all-time Patriot.
Absolutely.
Center, John Morris.
Me too. 6 years, AFL All-Star, 1970. Yep. Just friggin' stud.
All right, right guard. I got Logan Mankins.
You and me both.
There we go. It's so
the same.
I always feel bad for players like this. This is just like Wes Welker.
Yeah.
His first year after he left New England is when the Patriots dynasty reignited.
So tough.
So he came in there the year after they won their early run one, and then left right before.
It will always break my heart.
It sucks.
It will break my heart that Welker doesn't have a ring.
I know, it's so ridiculous.
That is so fucked up to me.
Definitely. All right, so moving on to the defensive side of the ball.
Okay.
I went a little unconventional with this one, but we'll get there. So my first defensive end, I went with Chandler Jones. Okay. He only got 1 Pro Bowl and 1 ring in New England. Okay. But in 4 seasons, he had 2 seasons with over 10 sacks. And was really coming into his own before he sort of had a lot of issues and they shipped him out of town.
I'm a Willie McGinnis type of guy. So second all time in Patriots with 78 sacks. 16 sacks and 10 playoff games.
That is my other edge. Who's your other edge?
Other edge is Larry Eisenhower.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think we're going to have the same D tackles.
Probably.
I got D tackle 1, Richard Seymour.
Same.
And then 2,
Vince Wilfork.
Yep.
Vince Wilfork was a stud.
Oh, yeah.
Absolute
Richard Seymour is sort of like a forgotten dominant D lineman, but he was really, really great in his time in New England. Sort of fell off when you go to the Raiders, but who doesn't?
Yeah, I was going to say it's the Raiders.
Yeah. So, yeah, my D line, I got Chandler Jones, Richard Seymour, Vince Wilfork, Willie McGinnis.
Yeah, you're either falling off the talent scale by going to the Raiders, or you're falling off the legal scale and going
exactly.
To jail. Yeah.
And then at my off-ball linebacker, I only went 2, so I'm running like a nickel defense for the Patriots. My first one, I did Andre Tippett, Hall of Famer, multiple-time Pro Bowl All-Pro.
Yep.
Co-defensive player of the year once.
Yep.
And part of the 80s All-Decade team.
I got him as my right outside linebacker.
Okay.
I got Teddy Bruschi as
my middle backer.
Yeah, my middle backer. And of my left outside linebacker, blast from the past, Nick Buonaconti, has had 2 all-time legendary great careers with both the Patriots and the Dolphins. So
I only went 2 linebackers, so I don't have that.
I'm gonna have to hear the secondary. I think you had 3 corners, right?
Yep, 3 corners.
Okay.
Cornerback 1, Mike Haynes.
Okay.
6 Pro Bowls, 6 second-team All-Pro, Hall of Famer, 75th anniversary team, NFL 100 team, 80s All-Decade team. Shutdown number 1.
I got Mike Haynes too. So
perfect. Cornerback 2, Stephon Gilmore. 4 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, a Super Bowl champion, Defensive Player of the Year, interception co-leader in 2019.
Yep.
And then 3, Ty Law. 4 Pro Bowls, 2 first-team All-Pros, 3-time Super Bowl champ, NFL interceptions leader, and a Hall of Famer in his own right. So I've got what I believe is 3 Hall of Famers at corner.
I agree. I actually have Ty Law as my cornerback too. I agree. I'm a big fan of Ty Law's, but I am actually going to swap out Ty Law for Stephon Gilmore.
I'm swaying him everywhere.
I guess he's convinced me big time. But yeah, no, I am a big Stephon Gilmore guy. That Defensive Player of the Year campaign was something else. Just it wasn't flashy. It wasn't flashy.
He's not a flashy guy.
It was consistent lockdown corner, and he did it the best in New England.
That's exactly right. Free safety, I got Devin McCourty.
Okay.
2 Pro Bowls, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 3-time Super Bowl champion, and another staple of just Patriot culture.
Devin McCourty.
Where it's like started off at corner, started off okay, struggled a little, went back and really found his home at safety, and has just been dominant. He was basically, his biggest issue is that he was stuck in the era where the Legion of Boom became popular, and you had guys, he caught like the tail end of Ed Reed and Polamalu, and he was always consistent, but he just sort of got stuck around bigger names.
Sure. I actually got him myself. I think he's an absolute stud.
Sweet.
I got him paired with Rodney Harrison.
That's who I have.
Yep.
Some nastiness in the secondary.
Yep.
Dude hits really, really hard. 2-time Super Bowl champ, big part of the first Patriots dynasty.
Yep.
And yeah, he put some violence in this defense.
Absolute stud.
Exactly.
Big hitter, break your back kind of guy.
And then special teams on the Pats is where we get our first true weapon of a special teamer.
Yeah.
Vinatieri.
100%.
Yeah, Adam Vinatieri. The most clutch kicker in league history. I would say he's just the best kicker in league history. A lot of people would probably start to talk Justin Tucker, but Vinatieri's done it so much more.
Not a Tucker guy, to be completely honest.
He's got a great leg, super accurate. He's great. But Vinatieri won Super Bowls with his leg.
Yeah.
Like multiple. And they won like in clutch moments because of him. He holds basically every record a kicker could hold.
Yep.
And this was, again, if there was ever a slam dunk on special teams, there's this and one return man that we will not see for a little bit, but it's pretty obvious who it is.
Duh. I mean, we'll get there, but
yeah,
we know.
Yeah. Yeah, Vinatieri, easy, true weapon on special teams.
I agree. Just an absolute, like, especially during his prime with the Patriots before it was Colts, starting to fall off at like 45 or whatever.
How dare he?
I know, how crazy. Father Time finally.
There's two people that have defeated Father Time. It was Tom Brady and Adam Vinatieri, and they're both on this team.
And they're both on this fucking roster, which is absolutely crazy to think about. But I got him as my kicker, and then Rich Camarillo as my punter.
I got Ryan Allen as my punter.
I'll fuck with Ryan Allen big time. I can't even lie. But I got 42.6 yards per punt from the 80s from the 81 to 87. So for 6 years, dude was averaging basically a half a football field.
Yep.
That's all I'm really asking for.
I just went with Ryan Allen because he has the highest average punt distance over the course of 6 years, and that's 6 years in bad weather in New England.
Yep.
And I think field position is field position is an important game when you're splitting all these rosters to pick who's better. You're basically splitting hairs.
Yeah. And
field position could be a big part of that. So I went with the dude who just could boot it far.
Yeah. And I actually like Ryan Allen's ability to keep it within the 20 a little bit more. I think when you start looking at punters from the 80s, you get guys who just kick the shit out of a ball and kick it deep.
Yeah.
Punting has evolved so far in 40 fucking years of playing the game.
Yeah.
As somebody who used to punt and kick myself and all the techniques I put into it to try and be the best that I could be.
Yeah.
100%. I almost think I want Ryan Allen a little bit more because especially if you're punting, I mean, I don't think you're punting.
Am I going to sway him again?
I think if you're punting, you're not punting from the 20 because these teams are too good. You're getting a first down.
Yeah.
You're getting a first down or you're getting two. If you get stopped eventually, you're trying to pin.
There's only a few teams that I think, a couple of these teams are going to have no chance to move on, but we'll see. And then returner, I got Kevin Falk.
Same.
Okay, sweet.
Yep, easy peasy.
Easy, yep. He's
actually, you know what?
Most consistent returner.
I changed my mind. I want Edelman as my returner.
All right, have him. Playing two positions for you. Yeah, I'm going Kevin Falk. He did it a lot more times for longer and was a dynamic player at running back also, so he knows how to move.
I remember Edelman always returning a punt against the Broncos for a touchdown when we needed him not to.
You love to see it. Yeah. All right, and then from New England, we are going to the Jets.
Last but not least.
Yeah. Now, this is where it got interesting.
Okay.
Because the Jets, in terms of head coach, don't have the most definitive guy.
Yeah.
So I actually went with Rex Ryan.
Really?
But here's why. So, he did get the Jets to 2 AFC championships because he's a defensive guru. And I found most of the elite talent on this team was on the defensive side of the ball.
I have Bill Belichick's napkin
that
says I'm signing before I put Rex.
The residue of Bill Belichick. No, again, and trust me, I really thought about a couple people.
Yeah.
But I was like, I think the best chance this team has is through elite defense.
To be honest with you.
So I went Rex Ryan because he's a defensive guru who, he got to the AFC Championship beating Tom Brady and Peyton Manning to get there on the back of great defense.
Yeah.
So I figured, listen, if there's any great chance, it's through defense. So I went Rex Ryan.
I got Rex Ryan too. To be honest with you, I had to give you a hard time for a little bit, but 100%. I can't name another coach. I kind of wanted to give it to Robert Saleh. To be honest with you.
Oh gosh, what's his name? The dude that won the Super Bowl. He had this super unique name.
Oh man.
Oh, what was his name? Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Yeah, go for it. I'll talk a little bit more about Rex Ryan.
Go for it, please do.
As a former USC fan, I was a big Mark Sanchez guy, so I want to see Mark Sanchez do well. We've all seen the kind of quarterback that Mark Sanchez is. So for Mark Sanchez to be covered up enough so that they could go to back-to-back AFC championships and be the best Jets team I've seen in my life.
Yeah.
I absolutely think that he's the guy for that to lead this roster, but
Oh, his name, the dude who won the Super Bowl for them was the other one. His name is Weeb Eubank.
Weeb Eubank.
I was like, I know it's unique. Part of me really thought about Adam Gase.
Yeah, I couldn't bring myself to really put anybody else. I thought about Robert Saleh.
I can't. There's not enough. So I just went with Rex Ryan, 2 AFC championships, and defensive master.
I've seen a lot of success there. I'll leave it there.
So, quarterback. Again, most of these teams had a pretty easy answer at this position. And that's Joe Namath, Broadway Joe.
Okay.
Pretty obvious. The only person on the Jets who could match his personality might be Rex Ryan.
That's fair.
So,
projection, I got Zach Wilson.
Oh, my God.
I think he might be... We'll have to see. I'm a big Zach Wilson fan.
It's a hell of a projection.
I think Zach Wilson, when it's all said and done, especially with the improvement I saw over the course of the year, and with the best draft that I've ever seen the Jets pull off in their life.
So that means there's 3 busts right there.
Oh, my Lord. Well, as somebody who is a fan of a team who has been able to change the culture by bringing the right guy, I don't know if Zach Wilson is Joe Burrow-esque, but I absolutely do think that with the athletic talent that this guy brings, I think he's got a freaking cannon. Give him, with some of the guys that they were able to bring in, I think Zach Wilson, when it's all said and done, could very well end up being a Josh Allen type guy for the Jets, of being the future guy that the Jets fans can finally be like, thank
Listen,
fucking God.
I applaud your conviction on this one.
Yeah.
I have to see literally some sign of life before I have to see something that makes me think that we aren't going to give him this just on flashes.
I see. I've seen enough that I know it's not flashes. Granted, we'll see if I'm correct, but he passes the eye test for the Jets.
Right.
As a Sam Darnold fan who was a USC guy, there were moments where I was more worried about Darnold than I have been for Zach Wilson, and I think they made the right moves. We'll just have to see them pay off now.
Okay.
This might be the coldest take, and if you give me a year, and I might be the biggest meme on Twitter.
You just might.
But I think Zach Wilson will end up being the best quarterback the Jets have ever had.
All right. Well, running back, this one was easy. Curtis Martin, he's a Hall of Famer, and he's really one of the only Hall of Famers that did all of it with the Jets.
These AFC East guys just bounce within the same division.
That's why I really tried not to. Continually do it.
Yeah.
That's why, that's almost a big part of why I was like, okay, I already got Gilmore on 2. I'm not doing Buonaconti on 2, and I'm not doing Curtis Martin on 2.
Fair.
So I tried to pick one and just stuck with it.
Okay.
But yeah, best running back in Jets history, leading rusher.
Easy.
Easy.
There's no conversation.
So wide receiver 1.
Okay.
Now, brace for a history lesson, you guys. All these wide receivers they're back there.
Yeah.
Wide receiver 1, Don Maynard, 12-year Jets, and the Jets' all-time leading receiver, Hall of Famer, member of the AFL all-time team.
Yep.
Also a member of their only Super Bowl winning team. His number is retired with the Jets. He's wide receiver 1.
Got the same guy. I mean, it's tough picks for the Jets' best wide receivers at this point.
They had a lot of dudes that I thought were on similar levels. So wide receiver 2, I got Altoon.
Okay.
Multiple Pro Bowls and All-Pros, entire career with the Jets. AFC Player of the Year and receptions leader.
Okay.
He played in the era after their Super Bowl year, so he never won a Super Bowl. But during his time, he was one of the best receivers in the league.
With you.
And then wide receiver 3, the New Englands may have Wes Welker, but the Jets have Wesley Walker. Okay? Same dude.
Wes Welker.
Wes Welker and Wes Walker, dude. 2-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro, Jets' second leading receiver all time.
Yeah.
The Jets, honestly, other than Maynard,
okay,
the Jets really had a lot of dudes that operated at that Pro Bowl level who were all within the 2 through 4 range for receivers.
Yeah.
So I just picked the dudes that I thought were the most impressive on that one.
Yeah. I put a little bit of I actually have Quincy Enunwa as my wide receiver 3. Believe it or not.
Dude, Jets fans, he fucking hates you.
I hate all of you, by the way. No,
Quincy Enunwa in there.
Man, strictly personal bias, and this is no disrespect because I've got man, I really wanted to put Wesley Walker specifically because of his fucking name. But I remember watching Quincy Enunwa back in his weird prime of that.
I remember seeing him get fucking creamed by somebody. I forgot who it was.
That was the end of his unstoppable time. But in the brief period before he got completely injured like that, he was a guy that I wanted on every single Madden roster. I wanted him on my fantasy team. The dude, for playing with Geno Smith, of all freaking people, looked like he could absolutely be a wide receiver 1. And I don't know if he counts as a wide receiver 3. I don't know if you could put him on this list.
Of course you can. You just did. You put Tyreek Hill on the Dolphins. At least this guy caught something for the Jets.
I love being just a loose cannon with these picks. But absolutely, Quincy Enunwa's got to get some respect. But, man, Wesley Walker.
I can tell.
I got to give it to him.
All right, left tackle. This is actually a very great player. The Jets line is particularly great.
If only it was all together at the same time.
Exactly. So left tackle, I got Winston Hill.
Okay.
Super Bowl winner for the Jets. Played there for 14 seasons and is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, just a classic.
So super solid left tackle.
Yeah, classic old school guy.
Yep. Left guard, Randy Rasmussen.
Yep.
Stapled the Jets O-line for 15 years, including their Super Bowl season also. So him and Winston Hill played together.
Yep.
Center, this guy did not play with them. He is much more modern. Kevin Maue. I believe that's how you say it.
Nick Mangold.
I'd shout out to him, but here's why.
Okay.
Hall of Famer, perennial All-Pro and Pro Bowler, and is one of the best centers in the league's history.
Okay.
Nick Mangold was good. Kevin Maue was that good, but way longer.
That's fair.
And
I love Nick Mangold.
Yeah, I literally have on here. I thought about Nick Mangold.
I wanted to. I really did. I wanted to for a modern guy on my roster, but yeah.
Exactly. And again, I really battled with that. But the truth is, the Jets have had a little bit of a rough go of it in recent years.
Yeah, they have not exactly had a stud O-line in the more recent years.
No, they have not. But so yeah, and at right guard, I really almost put Nick Mangold in because center to right guard is not a huge leap. But I ended up going with Dan Herman because he's just a really good ground and pound guard.
Yep.
That with somebody like Curtis Martin and the rest of this really strong line, that's what you need.
Yeah.
So that's what I got at right guard, and then I got my modern man, and he's in the first name Hall of Fame, baby. DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
I was going to say, if you didn't say DeBrickashaw Ferguson.
Yeah, first name Hall of Fame.
Yep.
Love it.
Yep, that's who I got.
Yeah, modern right Jet, Pro Bowler, All-Pro.
Just a stud.
One of the really good players in the AFC Championship Jets.
Yep.
Of the early 2010s. So
you forget about him, to be completely honest, which is just unfair. Dude was locked down for the Jets for his entire career.
Yeah. So on to the defensive end, and I think their defense is very interesting. So first defensive end, Mark Gastineau.
Okay.
Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time sack leader, multiple-time Pro Bowler and All-Pro, another 10-year Jet.
Yep. And
he held the single-season sack record when he retired with 22. And this was in an era where they did not throw the ball as much.
Yeah.
So, very impressive as a pass rusher.
Huge. I mean, it just speaks volumes. Because, again, at 22 sacks now, what is it? What's the record right now?
22 and a half still.
22 and a half.
It is held by two people now.
Yeah, it's freaking crazy.
Who are the two? You have to know them.
Oh, no, it's not Von Miller.
No.
No?
No.
Okay, Aaron Donald.
Nope.
No.
Strahan and TJ Watt.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Strahan broke it, then TJ Watt tied it this year.
I was looking for the modern guy who tied it, and I can't believe man.
Yeah.
Strahan. I'm such a huge TJ Watt.
Yeah, Strahan and TJ Watt. So, yeah, they broke Mark Gastineau's record.
I have to buy his jersey because he won me a fantasy playoff.
There you go.
Because of the Steelers' fucking defense, and he balled out. So
you'd love to see it.
Of all jerseys, I had to buy a fucking Steelers jersey.
All right, and then at D tackle, Joe Klecko, another Defensive Player of the Year, another NFL sack leader for a year, and another Pro Bowler, an All-Pro, and another 10-year Jet. So we got consistency here.
Yeah, we got consistency on the D-line and just basically an all-decade team with two guys.
Exactly. And then D tackle 2, Marty Lyons,
okay.
Jets Ring of Honor.
Yep.
And Jets Ring of Honor, and I lost it. Yeah, play another 11 years with the Jets.
God damn.
They had some very good defensive linemen that they retained and kept around, and
if only they could do that now.
Yeah, if only they could do it now.
Sorry,
yeah, we're keeping those guys together.
I'm not trying to go in on you guys. You just
and yet he is.
Hey, Zach Wilson's the man. I'm a huge Zach Wilson guy. Should have rocked.
He's the only guy that he's ever liked on your team. And then D end, my other D end, I went John Abraham.
Okay.
He only played the first few years of his career with the Jets, but in that time, he was a 3-time Pro Bowler and a first-team All-Pro. So, really high-end play with the Jets. He lines up on the other side of Mark Gastineau.
Yep.
I think that's a deadly combo.
You and me both.
Linebacker. Did 3 linebackers. Larry Grantham. Super Bowl champ, AFL all-time team, 10-time All-Pro, Jets Ring of Honor as well. Really consistent linebacker. Was one of the great winners of the Jets.
Back in the day.
Exactly.
New York legend.
Second linebacker, Mo Lewis. 3-time Pro Bowler, 13-year Jet as well.
Okay.
And then my last one for linebacker is David Harris. This is a modern player. So yeah, not much winning involved, but a second team All-Pro and another 10-year Jet. So you got All-Pros and Pro Bowlers throughout the linebacker core, playing freely behind a beast of a defensive line.
Yeah, I think that's just, it says enough.
Exactly. Now, cornerback 1. This was very easy, and there's a strong argument to be made that this is the single most dominant player who's ever worn a Jets uniform. There's some arguments with Gastineau and Namath and stuff like that, but Darrelle Revis certainly has a claim to that spot. He's arguably the second best corner ever, a true lockdown DB that matched up with any receiver.
Yeah.
And he literally dominated the league for over half a decade, had the single best corner season ever, I think, in like 2009 or something like that.
Yeah.
And an ACL injury halted his prime, but at Revis's peak, Revis Island was everyone's nightmare vacation as a receiver.
100%. It was, man, watching him was something else.
Yeah, so Revis, obvious number 1 corner.
Easy.
Second corner, I got Aaron Glenn, a 2-time Pro Bowler and his 4th in Jets history in interceptions.
Yep.
Free safety, I went with the Jets' all-time interceptions leader, Bill Baird, or Byard.
Okay.
Something like that. Classic free safety. He'll be playing deep because I put somebody who's a classic strong safety next to him.
And who is that?
Now let's listen to me, Jets fans. We have to let some old wounds heal here. They're pretty fresh. But in his time in New York, Jamal Adams was one of the best safeties in football.
Hey, bro, I think he genuinely he's still.
He has not been as good in Seattle.
Exactly. I think the best of his career was in New York.
Which is sad.
Because it wasn't even that great, but it was good football.
It was great. His years in New York, he was great. He just didn't get much for it.
Yeah.
But with a ball hawk like Bill Baird playing the classic free safety, he'll play deep. Jamal Adams will stick around the box. He also would be the guy that you let go against tight ends and stuff like that because he had a more modern, athletic safety.
Yeah.
My secondary is Revis, Aaron Glenn, Bill Baird, and Jamal Adams. And then kicker, I went Nick Folk.
Okay.
Again, just accuracy, consistency, and duration.
Arizona legend.
Exactly. And then punter, Curly Johnson, and returner, Leon Washington.
Okay. Yeah, I got Nick Folk myself, to be completely honest with you, and then Leon Washington is my returner as well.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, that's the AFC East. Real quickly here, we are going to break down where we rank these 4. I'm going to start at the bottom.
Okay.
And it is the Jets. I'm sorry, New York. You just don't have... You got a lot of good players. You might have only had 3 great players ever, maybe. Like, great in an all-time pantheon great.
Yeah.
And that just doesn't hold up against these other teams. So, unfortunately... The Jets are in the basement here.
I got them there too. It's definitely a shame. I do think that the team, it's not bad by any means.
No,
but it's just
look. Here's the problem.
You guys haven't won a Super Bowl since the third one.
Even when you look at their Hall of Famers or like their legends, you go Joe Namath, right? Tom Brady, Dan Marino, and even if we went Jim Kelly. But instead we go Josh Allen.
I think I'd rather have Josh Allen than Joe Namath.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like even your Hall of Fame quarterback, he's the fourth dude I'd want in this division.
Which is tough.
You got Gastineau, who's great.
Yeah.
Great. Jason Taylor.
Curtis Martin played great.
Yep. Yeah, but like Gastineau on the edge, you got Jason Taylor and holy shit, I just totally blanked on
Willie McGinnis.
No, the Bills won. Bruce Smith. Sorry.
Smith.
But it's like I'd rather have Bruce Smith. I'd rather have Jason Taylor. So it's just this issue of like the Jets all-time greats, there's somebody better. And no disrespect to them. I think this is a formidable team.
Yeah.
But they're in the basement of the AFC East for me.
100%.
Who you have at third?
It's tough. It starts getting really
honestly,
tough
these other three are nasty.
Yeah, it's fucked, bro. Like it's really tough to make that decision. I
went Bills.
I think it's gotta be the Bills.
Yeah, I went Bills at 3.
I think.
And when I was doing the research on this, and I did the Bills team, I was like, "That team's like fucking really great."
I thought it might be one of the. You know what?
They still might be. They could be a wild card, dude. Who are you gonna switch them with? You're not gonna do.
Well, I'm thinking.
How you can't switch them with Miami.
I want it.
I know you want to. I know it's who you're thinking about.
I want it.
But like, I know it's who you're thinking about. But okay, really, okay. Well, Marino or Josh Allen?
Josh Allen.
No.
I love Marino, but I think Josh Allen's better equipped.
Don Shula, Mark Levy.
Shula.
Yeah.
Shula.
And then you get into the receivers. They all have good receivers, but the Dolphins are like all Hall of Famers. The Bills' third receiver is good, but not on the same level as the Dolphins' third receiver.
Yeah, and
Gesicki's a weapon.
Dolphins' defense is actually
and Gesicki's a receiving weapon.
Yeah.
And then you get into like Jason Taylor, Bruce Smith.
I think
Bruce Smith is probably like better.
I think by default they end up in third, but it's like it's almost fucked up.
This is no shame on the Bills.
This is no shame.
The problem is
holy fuck.
And you'd never think it with where the Dolphins are, but the Dolphins were nasty.
Yeah. No, they really like. I mean, Dolphins have a case for one.
They do have a case for one, and this is where I'm going here.
Okay.
So I got Bills 3. This is no shot on them. I just think that the Dolphins and the Pats have a couple spots that are just like all-time great.
All-time great, yeah.
And the Bills are just overall great.
Yeah, I think put them up against
like the all-time. Okay, who are like the all-time great Bills? OJ, Bruce Smith.
Yeah.
Dolphins have more than that.
Yeah. There's some, and the secondary for the Dolphins is
nasty.
Kind of disgusting.
Yeah, so the real question is, for me, who do I have winning the AFC East? Is it Miami or is it New England? I thought this was going to be a landslide, by the way.
Same.
Ooh, it's tough.
I give it to New England.
I was about to say,
they've done it so
I am
long.
going to give this to the
Belichick,
Patriots. Yes.
Belichick
Here's the thing.
factor.
You got Shula, they got Belichick. You got Marino, they got Brady.
Yep.
They got Gronkowski, they got Moss. Moss might be the second best receiver ever, according to some people. Some people would even say first, just to be controversial.
Yeah.
But like Gronk's the best ever at tight end. Brady's the best ever quarterback. Second best receiver ever to some people.
Yeah.
Best slot receiver ever.
Yep.
Like
I think
their defense is overall again.
O-line's great.
And again, some of this is like the Island of Misfit Toys or something with New England, where it's just like they all are gonna fit in like their own unconventional way.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna give them first. But Miami, man, I think Miami very well could be one of the wild cards for me.
I think
that's
so
a
too.
Nasty team.
I think absolutely. I think that I really wanted to give Bills second, but it's gotta be Miami. It's gotta be Miami.
Dude, and again, I feel bad because I feel like we sort of shit on the Jets. But like,
yeah, sorry, Jets.
The problem is, it really is a problem of just like
can you blame us?
The Pats, the Dolphins, and the Bills are nasty, dude.
Fucking disgusting.
One of them, like you said that the Jets haven't won a Super Bowl since this. Listen, the Bills have never won a Super Bowl, but they went to 4 straight.
They went to 4 straight, and
they owned a conference for half a decade.
For a damn good team.
Yeah, They owned a conference for half a decade,
They're
man.
one kick away from
at least one
history changing.
Yeah.
Completely. Because if you go in, if you go in back-to-back defending.
Oh, could you imagine how deflating that would be?
One kick changes everything. They go from being a team that it was one kick away and it breaks them to a point where they lose 4 in a row. Because every time they get there, there's the yips or some shit comes in. I don't know exactly what happened, so I
didn't think that was the first one they were at.
The first one they were at was a missed kick. So then it literally
I thought
set
that
the
was
tone.
later.
No, it set the tone for the next 4 fucking games.
God.
The next 3 fucking years. Because it's just every time they get to the Super Bowl, it's like, this will be the one that we make up for it, and they didn't.
Yeah.
And it's almost, but at the same time, again, you guys owned a conference for half a fucking decade.
It's crazy.
That is something that I've never seen before in my life. Doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, we've seen it with the fucking Pats.
Well, yeah, but not 4 in a row. Not 4.
No,
Super
but they
Bowls in a
said
row,
they said
regardless of winning or
no,
losing.
but here's the thing. Okay, but here's the issue. Again, the Bills and Dolphins each have like some unmatched runs of dominance. The problem is the all-time unmatched run of dominance is also in their division.
It's fair. That's
like,
tough, yeah.
The Pats are a double dynasty that went to their absolute worst for a decade. Their worst, their low watermark was the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Like, it's just like, again, that's nothing against the Bills or the Dolphins or the Jets. It's just like, it's the most unprecedented run of kick your ass.
Yeah, we talk about the rules are set from the early 2000s.
2000s.
That's literally
Pat's
when this
dynasty
started.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, bro, we've literally, these rules that we've now developed over the course of 22 years to the point where we are now.
Yeah.
You know, for better or for worse.
It hasn't mattered. The Pats have been good for all of them.
Pats have been good for all of them. Like, my entire life I've been having to deal with the Patriots.
Yeah.
And with the only exception being these past 2 years of you guys not having Brady for the first time.
Then he still
forever.
deals with Tampa.
And not, well, granted, Tampa, like, I kind of root for Brady.
By the way, I'm going to say this right now. I'm going to have a real battle with myself about the Bucs quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Because I on like a moral level, almost refuse to do it.
He's the second best quarterback in franchise history already. Like, stat-wise, in 2 years, he's already the second best.
I think I already know who I'm going to put there, but I'll have to do the research on it.
I swear to God.
But who do you think I'm talking about?
Better not be James.
It's not gonna... No!
Oh, my God.
Ew, no.
I think I'm putting Brady. I don't care who else has been quarterback for that
Dude,
team.
I can't do it. He is the Patriots. I can't do it.
So many kids are going to know him as Tampa Bay Tom.
Tampa Tommy.
Some don't even know anything else.
But
Tampa Bay fans who have been born into that franchise are just the biggest Brady fans in the world.
Oh, God.
Even realizing.
But yeah, but enough on Tampa Bay. We'll get there eventually. But yeah, I think the way I have it, the all-time AFC East teams, I'm going Pats 1, by a hair, Dolphins 2,
Yeah.
by another hair, Bills 3,
and then the Jets.
and then by like
4,
a
5,
stone's throw, the Jets at 4.
Yeah, and again, sorry, Jets fans.
Yeah, sorry, dude. The problem
Give us
is
something to talk about, dude.
here's the biggest difference between the Jets and the other 3. The other 3 went on runs and stretches of dominance.
Yeah.
The Jets had 1 year, really.
2 years, maybe.
Maybe. Like the AFL years
3
seem
years
to have...
3 years total.
Like-
the Super Bowl and the 2 back-to-back
Like
AFC.
the AFL years were apparently good for the Jets, but putting those dudes with like 2000s rules, it's tougher.
Oof.
It's more of a passing balanced league.
Yeah.
And players who played great during the AFL years didn't have to deal with all that stuff.
Yep.
And it's just like time has not been kind to the Jets.
Yeah.
And
it's been
if they literally had like a 5-year stretch anywhere in the last freaking 40 years almost.
Yeah.
If they could have had a 5-year stretch where they were really good, they might be higher.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Jets, it's unfortunate, but yeah, the Jets take the L on this one. The Jets crashed.
It's tough.
The
You hate to see
Bills.
it. Not to say that we will talk about the worst team ever when it's all done. I don't think the Jets are the worst.
I don't think they're going to be the worst team ever. I have my suspicions on the teams that will be. I've been eyeballing them for a while.
I have a couple who I have circled.
Yeah. Granted, I will say this. The Jets might be in that conversation, but I think they'll be the high end of it.
They might be the high end of the worst teams of all of them.
Yeah.
But
Like, we'll get down to...
out. Maybe they sneak out.
Just as we'll award an all-time winner, we will award an all-time loser.
I
hope it's not the Jets.
Yeah.
Because I think that they're better. They've been better than all-time worst team.
I'd hate to hand Zach Wilson the crown for worst.
Especially because he's on your team.
He's a fucking man. I love that guy.
Yeah. But we'll see. But yeah, so that is the first leg of our all-time bracket. We will be posting our rosters for you guys to vote on and make your own. And it should be a good time.
Yeah,
and go for it.
Oh yeah, we're excited to see not only what who we come up with is the best teams in the division, but we kind of want to hear.
Listen, Jets fans, show up. Yeah. If you guys manage to vote the Jets to be like the highest, if the Jets get the most votes to win the AFC East. If they move on.
Look, I'll tell you right now, if you guys somehow vote for the Jets to win the AFC East, I will buy a Zach Wilson jersey and wear it. I
still won't. You could get me to buy a Revis jersey. If I had to get a Jets jersey, I'd get Revis.
I would absolutely spend the money on a Zach Wilson jersey.
Yeah, you can do that.
I love modern.
I'm not. I think the modern Jets jerseys are dookie.
They've grown on me a little bit. I think Zach's kind of been the reason why, because I love Zach so much. So seeing him over there makes me kind of
Jesus. I'm gonna get a Zach Wilson cutout for you. You guys can get a room.
Oh, beautiful. But absolutely, I think when it comes to the man cave of the dream for the man cave is
jersey from every team,
exactly,
helmet from every team,
exactly. I think if I'm doing that and putting it in a framed shadow box, and hopefully I want signed jerseys because I'm hoping one day I'm just making billions of dollars apparently.
Oh yeah.
I would much rather prefer a signed Darrelle Revis jersey framed up, a traditional classic one. But if I was
those are way better.
I would love a Zach Wilson jersey signed by.
I would love for the Jets to do they're bringing the throwback jerseys back. I'd love for the Jets to bring back the 2010s unis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man.
But next week,
see, we didn't bury the Jets. We talked about them for a little bit.
Exactly. we have one jersey all time we would want from that team, but two. Yeah, fair enough.
Two. Zach's pretty sick.
Yeah. But so that's the AFC East all time, and next week will be the AFC North. It'll be next Thursday again. So those will be weekly. Give you guys some time to vote, and thanks so much for tuning in.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.
Looking forward to it.
Peace.